Okay. Obviously the holes are big. Everything just kind of went right through it. There's my apples. I put no water in there because I didn't know what I'm going to get here, right? So anyway, I tasted this because the can is dented, right? Tastes like mango. Is that recording? This is the next video. What have they done trying to block you coming in? Because I know you don't know until you try, right? You know what I'm saying? I just don't want this to go to waste. And I don't want to, you know, this. Real estate agents and stuff that are like, I don't want to put these cans away for any length of time. Everything will stay better if I do it this way. I don't know what people do with this stuff, but either or. Okay, so in this situation,
it was a perfect, horrific storm.
I should have just, I can just empty the whole can.
That's what it looks like.
Basically.
Most of the intel after being here almost a month. And by the way, today is 1 month. I didn't know if you knew that or not. I didn't know if you said that 1 month ago. Today was the fires, and that first couple of weeks was insane. And to watch these, we were talking to locals, you know, just basically saying, hey, listen, what are you seeing out there? And they would break down crying, like they would literally just in front of us just start sobbing. And this happened several times.
And then start.
The emotions would just pour out, and the urgency for them was.
Because it's puree,
where's
right?
the help? You know, where's the we're citizens.
We're just going to go like that.
We've been here.
Now,
we're loyal.
I could.
Where's the loyalty to us? And to watch these people just scrape and grind to try to get support down.
Cook up these apples.
Their local brothers and sisters.
I don't have to mash them.
It was terrible. So
I can leave them whole.
Again, these are all head scratchers for us.
And then just can them as is.
Just disconnect.
Which I will probably do the next batch tomorrow because I still have in my sink, right? I can't do them all tonight. I can only do one tonight.
You mentioned Archie Kalepa.
Right?
He has a team of generational individuals that are around him. And there's an area called Hawaiian Homes.
Okay, got the wrong burner going.
Government, with all this mistrust already going on, in 2 weeks into
it actually doesn't taste too bad.
Down FEMA groups to go into their home area, and they're all masked up. They're all geared up. They've got some of them are rightfully so. They're law enforcement officers, so they have weapons on them, and they showed up in this community and start walking through, and they're like, time out. We already don't trust you enough, and you're going to go unannounced. This guy's a leader in this culture.
Yeah, the first thing you do when you show up somewhere, whether you're a reporter or the police, is you make contact with the locals.
It was insane. They had some say, you're not going to go. You're going to scare people.
I'm trying to decide
knocking on doors. We're just coming in
what I think about it.
With the Tessie area, and it was probably.
So I added no water
they mean the best
because I'm going to use the apple juice
things, but
whoever's sending them in
with this mango.
Basic sociological.
So as it cooks,
it's offensive.
It's going to release its own
I was offended.
Water.
I was embarrassed.
Now I could get a little bit of water after the fact, whoosh it around, pour it in there, whoosh it around, and then I'm not wasting it, right?
But they can't let him know that I'm going to send 50
So for now, I'm going to do two of these cans.
Steve, make your points. What's the bottom line?
I probably bought 10.
I've seen the meetings, the
I
local
don't know.
government meetings.
I don't remember.
I
I got two different kinds. All I know is I don't want them in this can. These cans are sharp.
Yeah, so if you're
So before you pour it in,
the public's finding out
I taste
about your lies
it. Make sure it's okay.
The results don't lie.
Kill yourself tasting it.
I mean, the local Hawaiians were helping the Hawaiians, right? And so they set up their own EOC and they set up their own calculations of who they know
because
is missing.
it's dented,
so they're not
right?
counting on the government, and that's why.
So in a situation like this,
this is a very interesting point.
I'd add just a tad bit of water.
It's interesting for them as local Hawaiians to reach out to their Haole brothers going, hey, I need you because I trust you, right?
I have some here.
I find that as this thing moves on, we're going to be back at this video we're talking about today. January 20th, when that whole locking of the arms of the Hawaiian people, the natives organizing this thing to bring everybody together, we're going to see exactly where this train is.
And then I'd whoosh it around.
What track is it set?
There's water in there.
What new policies are put in place?
Right?
But our job, and I feel like it's my job,
so we're not wasting any,
is to empower them
okay,
and take all the knowledge and information I've had from all the passengers.
Try not to anyway.
How government steps in, how BlackRock steps in, how their development department step in.
And then I put it in the other can.
Exactly. We're about to find out because we see the setup, but the confirmation will be them trying it.
Wish that around.
The governor said 2 days in, we're going to
Try and
the
get
land.
that.
They're so arrogant. I mean, that's
And then
wild.
I pour it in there.
And I know it firsthand because
2 cans gone.
I've been on calls with the guys at BlackRock that actually offering the system to buy into the system. So I have another call with them coming up, and it's interesting because
now I got a different
I know how this program
brand.
works.
I don't know where it is.
When we have a chance, Alex, we
I
can
got
talk about this
shit all over the
offline.
place.
I can't put this out there, but I deserve to have a
But
conversation with you about
from what
the
I can
specifics
see,
of how this machine is working.
once the apples cook,
because we don't have the funds to get there and have the
and start to release their
But just, you guys-
juices.
I'll jump in here, but just as American citizens, what does your gut tell you, or the local saying? Where do you see this going? I think you said
start releasing their juices,
trying to take the land, and now that the public's awake, this is going to be.
I think it will be
And we're sad people
more
think
than
it's terrible,
enough.
but this is a beta test, like California, where they won't cut the trees around the
And because you got more apple,
fires. I mean, this is
well, the mango too, with a bit of sugar, you don't need to add anything. You don't need to add lemon, you don't need to add sugar, nothing. You just have to cook down your apples, get it to where you want it,
They're used to wars. I mean, this is
and then can it. Right? And because I'm using half pint size jar, you just 15 minutes. But you have to sterilize your jars. I haven't even done that yet. Right. And then what's going to happen tomorrow, I'm going to get up in the morning. Do you see how that is now? Right? These apples are still raw. So by the time it cooks, I suspect it will be a little more runnier. You can cook it down to whatever thickness that you want, or if you want, you can always add more sugar to thicken it up. I'm just saying. Right, but I'm not. I'm just going to cook down. We're going to cook the apples and puree them. Right, because this is more for Amari, right? Although you could use it on pancakes and waffles and, you know, sweet bread and whatever you want, right? And then tomorrow I'm going to get up in the morning. First thing I'm going to do is peel what's in the sink in terms of apples. And I'm going to do it again with mango. And then we're going to get into those sardines that are thawing in my fridge.
Listen, you can talk about things being accidental.
And then we're going to get back to apples and probably do more apples with mango. Or maybe I'll do... Well, I'm just going to do some straight up applesauce. A little bit, a few cans anyway of that.
I've never seen anything ever like this, and I've never said that.
And then we got those peaches that need to be recanned. So maybe I'll do, after I'm done some apples, I'm putting apples right now in the fridge, which buys me a week or 2 or 3 to space out everything that I need to do between the peaches, the mangoes, and putting stuff away and anything else that I do in a day, which is a lot.
What is the current exclusion?
It's a lot.
What is the current cover-up like?
So I wouldn't cook this too high. Sure, bring it up, get it going, because it's gonna come out in big bubbles and it's gonna fly in your face. Okay? So keep your face back when you do this. And make sure it doesn't burn on the bottom. So I'm glad I bought those dented cans for what it's worth.
But phase one,
because it does actually taste pretty
Where's that
good.
being moved? Is that being buried on the island somewhere? That's going to leach into the water, and then you have
to buy
a health issue there
like
that leaches into
fresh
the ocean,
mangoes,
and the people's drinking
it's
water?
expensive.
Or it's going to be moved off island, and if so, where is that
Where
being
this
done?
is real mangoes, tastes like mangoes, has nutrition of mangoes, minus maybe a bit of vitamin C, and it's actually pretty mild, so we'll have to wait and see. Now these apples, as they're falling at this point in the game, not so much in the beginning when they're really small, but now we're getting into some bigger apples and stuff, and you know, they've been on the tree for a while and they've ripened, and oh my god, they're so good, you don't even know. You don't even know, people. So I guess I'll pick up with this tomorrow, okay? Okay, just so you know, see, when you do YouTube videos, I mean, for the people that watch my videos all the time, whether I cuss or not, it doesn't matter. The point is you watch them all the time, okay? Obviously, you've got some so, you kind of have to repeat yourself as you go along, because you get a newbie coming in and maybe they don't know about stuff like this, so you kind of have to repeat yourself, just because the chances of them going into your 2,800 videos and finding what I'm going to say is pretty slim, because some of these videos are so buried you can't even find them unless I find the time to put them in a playlist, which I don't have time for, right? So what I'm trying to say is, okay, I am stacking and packing these jars. I didn't have the tall, oh jeez. I didn't have the tall, half pint size jars. I probably do somewhere, but I can't find them. What I pulled out was a pint, but I'm not in the mood to be making a pint right now, right? I want them in salmon size jars. Half pint size jars, which is the salmon size jar, right? Or the taller ones. I prefer the tall ones, like this, right? When I do for Amari, I like this size, or I'll also do this size, right? I thought I had this, but I didn't. It turned out it's a pint, so I've got this. Now, when I do these with like a fruit or something, I will double stack in a water bath. As long as you've got over an inch, 2 inches above the highest jar, don't worry about it. Okay? Right? I'm just saying. The worst that's going to happen is a jar will break. That's the worst that will happen. Otherwise, they will seal. Okay? That's the first thing. So don't think that you can't stack and pack in a water bath, because you can, because I've done it. Do I stack and pack everything? Obviously not. But for something like this, I ain't sweating it. Okay? Now the other thing is, because I am stack and packing salmon-sized jars in a water bath, and I'm using another new box of jars for the most part, although they're not all new, some are whatever. They're all in the oven, because I'm not going to throw... I can do 8 on the bottom, 8 on top. So that's a total of 16 jars, salmon size. To which, I don't think I've got 16 jars in my pot. However, I'll probably have 13 or 14, which puts me into that stack and pack situation. So with that said, I'm not going to put 14 jars into my canner and boil them for 10, 15 minutes to sterilize them. In this situation, I'd put them all into my oven after I've washed them, rinsed them, whether they're new or used, at 250 for at least 20 minutes. Okay? And then you basically sterilize your jars. And then fill them up, do whatever you got to do. Make sure, because it's going to be more than likely hot or warm. Coming out of the oven, the jars are hot. Putting in your product is hot. So make sure your water is hot. Otherwise, you're going to get that, and then you're going to crack all your jars. And, well, the first one that goes in definitely will be in complete shock. So, right? And then, yeah, put your 8 on the bottom, put your tray, and then finish off whatever you've got. And then bring it to a boil. Once you see or hear it's boiling, then you do it for 15 minutes. Turn off your water. Don't move the lid. Give it 5 minutes or so to rest. Then kind of gently lift off your lid. Don't take the jars out too quick, otherwise that vortex, right? Give it a few more minutes, 5-10 minutes, just to kind of equalize with the pressure and everything, and you know, and then yeah, bring them out, and you'll be fine. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to be having to boil 8 jars. I mean, I've done it, right? But for this, it's okay. Right? Just saying. Now, whenever you do stuff like this, you gotta be prepared to keep weird hours. Like it's probably going on 11:30 at night right now. And I've been up since 6 o'clock, a little earlier this morning. At about 5:45 in the morning, I got up. So I've had a full day. Now I've decided, because I'm tired, I'm not going to worry about any chunks of apple that are in this. I'm just going in the jar as is. Why not? If it's, you know, give to Amari, I can mash it with a fork, or I can run it through his little blender. But for us larger people, I thought it might be interesting to bite into an apple if you wanted to, say, put this on pancakes or something. I'm thinking, what else can you do with this stuff? Well, I could open up a jar, put it into a pot, sweeten it with some vanilla sugar to thicken it up, right? Or even maple sugar, just to thicken it up. And then something making noise. That's that burner there. Just to thicken it up. And then you could put it on a jelly roll, a cake jelly roll kind of thing. Or you could make a nut bar, whether with cashews, oatmeal, or with any kind of nut really, even peanuts for that matter. What else can you do with it? I don't know. But I would consider that, because I don't like spending $6 for 5 skinny little teeny weeny granola bars that you buy in the grocery store. I said, Andre, I did that once and never again. See, that's why Tisha spends $2,400 a month, because she'll buy stuff like that. No, doesn't make sense. I have everything we need to make our own. And we can get creative with it. Okay? So basically, this is what it looks like now. So I'm going to rest for a few minutes. Get probably steamy. Oh yeah, and make sure you have some hot water off to the side. Right? I'm warming that up now. Okay? So that when you start putting your jars in, I mean, obviously the water is going to rise. But when you do the next level, it's not going to be more than likely high enough. So you're going to have to add some more in there. I don't like to use hot water from the tap because of the heavy metals that come out from the hot water tap. So I always use cold water and then heat it up. So have your extra hot water to top off so that you have that much over your jars, right? I'm not saying stack and pack everything that you do when you're doing a water bath, but once in a blue moon for something like this, it's okay, right? Like I didn't stack and pack the relish. I did the one layer and that was it. In this situation though, with the fruit and everything, it's okay. So now I just have to wait for my jars to sterilize in the oven. Then I'm going to fill them up. 1/4 inch headspace, finger tight, in there, and away you go. And you just run with it. And when you do stuff like this, if you're doing in bulk like I am, you're just going to have to just ride the storm and just go through it. Right? Your hours will fluctuate. Like tomorrow, what's going to happen tomorrow after this is done? I'm basically going to maybe wolf down a sandwich because, again, I haven't eaten all day. And what kind of sandwich I'm going to eat, it's hard to say yet. But I'll eat something and then I'm going to go to sleep. I want a sardine sandwich with mayonnaise and onions. Actually, I found some sardines as well underneath there. Maybe I just might do that. Because that just puts me to sleep. They're so, so good. And I didn't know I had sardines underneath there, but I do. I was underneath there putting something else away today, digging something else out, and I found them. I felt them, right? So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have it. I open up one can, it gets me two with the onions, it gets me 2 sandwiches. And then I'm going to get up in the morning, and I'm going to start with the sardines first. The frozen fish, because they're unthawed now, right? Well, I would think they're unthawed. For the most part, they probably are. And deal with that. I'm going to can that first because that's 100 hours standing here. And I'm going to use a tablespoon of olive oil and probably some hickory smoke with some of them. And the other one will be just olive oil and probably salt. I'm not going to get too creative with it because it's not something I've really ever done. My mother used to, I think, can sardines. I don't know. She used to go fishing and stuff and get sardines. She did something with sardines. But yeah, I don't think she canned them because I don't ever remember her having a pressure canner. She used to do water bath. That's how I learned how to do water bath. Right? And when you get into the 1.9 liter jars, right? Those ones, you know, you can put in the oven and sterilize that way and whatever, right? And you have to remember too, when you put your food, your jars in your water bath canner, and it's going, right? You're sterilizing the jar anyway, so you're actually sterilizing it twice. Because you boil more than 10 minutes, right? 15 minutes for a pint size anyway. That's that turkey grease. It's holding up pretty good, don't you think? Okay, so I will come back after the fact of everything. Well, I'll probably show you how nice it looks when they're in the jars before I put the lids on, right? And then tomorrow we'll pick up with the sardines. Okay, I am going to do this again. It is so good, man. You don't even know. Like, seriously, it is so, so good. I want to do this tomorrow. I'm going to get up. I'm going to do the sardines first. And then I'm going to do this again. It thickened up perfectly. Yeah, like, it tastes really good. Okay, so, do you see? Right? Only because I'm tired. Otherwise, everything's ready to go. This is my second layer, okay? But I've had a full day. And I have a full day tomorrow. And another full day after that. I'm not wasting these apples any more than I have to. Right. And even then, I'm not wasting them because what doesn't make it goes into the compost, which is good. Yeah. Oh, I so wish I could see better. It's so depressing. Ah. Where's that pizza pan? Andre, you have to help me find that pizza pan. Andre. Pizza pan. Hold on. Andre. I need... See? The water is clean. Okay, so now I'm on to the fish. The fish. Should be interesting to see what's in this bag. Right? They still got a little bit of ice on them, so that's good. They're very soft. Ew. I don't know if I think they have their guts in them. And of course, I can't fucking see. Oh my lord, people. I think I'm in trouble. I haven't gutted a fish since I've been a kid. Andre, I need some kind of glasses here or something. I don't know what kind of fish I got.
I can't play a game already.
What?
I said I can just hook up the email later. It said I can just play the game right now. What kind of glasses?
Just the dark, the black ones with the bigger.
Where are they?
On my desk.
I would do that for you, but I'm not touching a fish guts.
No, I'm not asking you to. I haven't gutted a fish for a long time.
Oh yeah, it has the guts.
It does?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, have fun. Here you go.
Shut up. That's like that turkey you had. Put him on my face. Oh my lord.
Try not to hurt your eyes here. Ready?
I
Enjoy
can kind of... Oh, shush up.
I'm gonna go play Minecraft.
Okay, I need another bowl here so I can put these guts in there. I guess Matilda might get them. Oh my lord.
Are fish guts good for cats though?
I don't know. I haven't
Just
done...
use this.
Oh. Oh.
Now I'm gonna go, okay? Before I get grossed out here.
Okay.
And also, I heard fish guts smell terrible.
Nah, it's okay. It's not... I used to catch fish from my mother when I was a kid. And when you have 5 kids... Right? Cooking all the time. You're not squeamish. Alright. I don't know if I was supposed to degut them when they were frozen. I don't know. But nothing's perfect in life. Okay, that's not so bad. Oh, I guess I should cut off the head. Well, no. I'll do one thing at a time here, right? You just don't know what you're going to get with my videos. No. No, you don't. If it's not chicken heads, it's fish guts. So, I don't know. Maybe you're supposed to do this when they're frozen? I mean, obviously it would help if I could see. But it is what it is. Beggars can't be choosy. Some fish is better than no fish. Especially if it's coming out pretty good after the fact. Who's under my feet? Somebody wants this. You want this? You think you want it? Oh, you're getting on my nerves, you stupid cat. Here, let's see if you'll eat it. As is. There you go. Maybe. Who says cats don't like fish? Alright. Anyway. When I opened up that can of sardines last night, because you know I was chowing down on a sardine sandwich with onions, right? They had sliced them, right? In like, what, maybe 3/4 of an inch thick? And they laid them in like that. I keep telling you people, it's not 130 grams. That's 130 grams including water. Okay? With a little teeny weeny bit of soya oil. So I don't know. I don't seem to be cutting this very smoothly. Maybe I don't have the right knife or something, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. Right. Ugh. Whoops. Wrong container. I'm already making mistakes. Where did it go? Ugh. Did you eat it? Oh yeah, you want more. Well, she wants more. Yeah. He's gonna be bugging me now. I would suspect these things have their scales. Oh, go figure, right? Well, maybe this. Well, no, I think. Well, kinda. Maybe not much. They kind of. I think they descaled them. Oh yeah, no, there's scales on them a little bit. Oh God, I even have to descale these things a bit. Okay, first we'll just do the guts. I need a okay, you know, I need you to, I know what knife works really good. I am telling you. Go into the, where I like to keep my little knives. Okay, you know, in the knife drawer, in the utensil drawer here. Go to the back, look in there, and find me one of those pumpkin carving knives. Oh man.
Wait, where?
Go into the knife, like go into the silverware drawer. You know how I like my knives in the back and tell you not to touch them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go in there and find those teeny weeny little knives that you use to cut pumpkins. When I did those turkeys, if you ever want to debone a turkey, a raw turkey.
That knife?
I can't see, Andre. You have to come closer. Yeah. Will you go find another one? I'm telling you, this is the best. This is a pumpkin carver. That is the best for deboning
Try not to cut myself
a turkey.
Here you go. Oh yeah, definitely smells.
It's just fish, Andre.
Yeah, fish. That's probably.
It's fine. It's fish. It came from the sea. That's why it smells like that.
Yeah. You think?
It's okay.
Yeah, well, at least we know the cats like it.
Oh, Mo loves this. She's already in her glory.
Oh, great.
Yeah, but I'm not going to give her too much. She's It's garbage guts. Crapping all over the place. That's all I do. Clean up after him. Anyway. I wonder if, when you get these canned sardines, if they take out the guts. I'm just saying. Anyway. It slices really easy. I don't know how easy this would be to do it frozen. But, whatever. Okay. Okay, I need you again.
I was just over there.
I know. You can turn off the camera, and then after I get this all done, then we'll come back. 'Cause I got 5 bags to do. I'll be here for a while. Can you go maybe downstairs? Okay, so now it is, what is it? I think it's September 11th of 2023. It's Sunday. Anyway, I slept for a day and a half. Not straight through, but a fair amount. Because, you know, I worked hard, people. And I gotta play sometimes catch up. I wanted to can these sardines yesterday, but I ended up going to sleep, and then I just said sleep. Sleep, 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 sleep. And then I got up this morning, and I was going to do them first thing in the morning, but I bagged out real early. And then I laid down, and then I slept for a while. Now we're going into the evening at 6 o'clock, because it's a 1-hour dance in front of the pressure canner. Well, sorry, 100 minutes, right? 100 minutes. You can do 100 minutes or 110 minutes. In the good old days, before I had my gauge, I had that one that just had that little thing, and it would spray out, spray out. And Uncle John would be sitting over there, and my heart would be going like this, be 100, 110 minutes or whatever it was. I wrote on the jar whether it was 110 minutes or 100. By the time I opened up my pressure canner, after it was all said and done, I had, if I was lucky, a teaspoon of freaking water in it. A teaspoon! I don't know what would have happened if I would have, like, completely had absolutely no water in it, because clearly I was running it on max, too high. That's why I like the one that you can read with the needle. Anyway, I have 2 pressure canners. I used the one with the dial before I used the other one, and I bought a replacement dial and all the parts for the one that I like to use. Okay. Anyway, I'm doing these now. And, you know, I never did this before. And I washed them. They did have scales. So that, you know, I gutted them first, and then I was starting, like, some of them had scales on them, and some of them didn't. So, right? And by the time I figured out that they had scales on them, some of them, it was already too late as I was gutting them, right? And because they had basically unthawed, right? You know, they're very soft. So, I didn't like that. I'll show you in a minute what I'm talking about. So, of course, I'm thinking, oh, God, I'm in the kitchen, and here goes my nose. So, of course, I'm thinking, you know, I'm not thinking so much about canning this batch, although I am. I'm thinking more about canning the next batch better. Because, you know, I Googled canning sardines, didn't really come up with too much in terms of, I didn't, no real recipes. I mean, fish is fish. It's either 100 minutes or 110 minutes for the most part. If you're going to smoke, they say better to smoke it yourself versus rely on this, but I'm going to use this because I want some of them with liquid smoke, and we'll talk about that. And the one video that I did come across is on YouTube. It comes up through the search engine. I'm almost positive, people, they took the whole sardine. Well, they did with the head. I don't think they gutted them. I really don't. I think they took the whole sardine and canned them in pint-sized jars. That's about it. That's a little bigger than a pint. They canned them in pint-sized jars. Okay? With head and all. After they had them in a brine. You know, 1 gallon of water to what was it? A half a cup of salt or something like that. I didn't do that, right? You mean, they said it, you know, it's better because it makes the fish taste more flavorful, but whatever, I'm using olive oil, salt, and or some hickory smoke, so I'm not too worried about it, right? And this is my first time anyway. And, you know, I watched the video for the most part, and I don't think they gutted them. I mean, I can understand maybe canning the head with the fish itself, because people do eat parts of the head, like they, you know, you get a salmon head and you make soup broth and everything, right? You know, I mean, like, apparently it's good for the people, right, to eat that. So, you know, so I'm like debating whether I should can the head with the fish. I don't know. Like, and I'm like, okay, well, what are you going to do after the fact? Because when you buy them like this, okay, first of all, it says 130 grams. Oh, no, this isn't even 130 grams, people. This is 106 grams. And that would be including the water, net weight. That's not the amount of fish. So this is in Europe. It used to, who knows? Anyway, some of these, like this, come in with the pull tab at 130. This one's 106. You think you're getting 106 grams worth of fish, when in fact you're not. If I was to open up this can, now I have, okay, but I don't really know how to use them. But I'm curious, I'm kind of curious, honestly, just to, because I do want to do this again, and I'm like, okay, well, what can you do with it after the fact? And, you know, and I'm like, because when you do home canning, you have to heat it up. It's just, you have to. You don't have to. People eat right out of the can, but if it's a low-acid food or any kind of meat or fish, it's recommended to bring it to that boil, blah, 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 right? We know that. And then, if you want it cold, let it cool down, put it in the fridge, let it cool, get nice and cold, then bring it back out, then consume it, because at least you know you've already, you know, boiled it, right? Where these are very convenient. You pull, you eat. You pull, you put in a bowl, chop up your, right? And you're good to go. So for that, these are great. But at the end of the day, you don't get a lot of fish for your money. Okay? Now the cans that I was looking at, I'm pretty sure they were 130 grams. And then Canadian Superstore, they're selling them for $2.20, where Walmart was selling them for $1.97 with the soya oil, okay, which is an inferior oil versus olive oil, right? And even though it says 130 grams, or in this case 106 grams, if I was to take out the fish, put it on my scale without the water, I can guarantee you're not going to get 106 grams worth of fish, because they're including, I'm pretty sure, the water. Okay? But for what is that called? You know, for goodwill, you know, the benefit of the doubt or whatever, right? See, I can't even see this thing now. When I bought it, I could see it, but I can't see it now. Never mind know how to use the bloody thing. My son knows how to use these things. Andre is going to have to learn how to use these things. Right? I kept the directions with it. That's good. Okay? So, tar is to bring it down to 0. Put your plate on there. Bring it down to 0. Yeah, okay, it's on 0. What unit do we have it on? Grams. Okay, that's what I want, right? So we got the plate on there with the 0, and it's going to measure in grams, okay? So that's good. All right, so I'm going, now, here's another thing. So I think those women, now I wouldn't eat those sardines that were canned completely whole. Yes, maybe with the head, because I could see myself. Now I'm like, okay, you got these sardines canned. What are you gonna do with them? You know, how are you gonna eat them? Blah blah blah. Right? Okay. It's not the same as this. So you got to get a little more creative with it. Well, what about fried with, you know, being battered up with egg or something? Now, mind you, after these things cook, they get really, really soft. So I don't know how that would work. But let's just say if you put one whole fish in here and you gently took it out, oh, I don't even know. By the time you boil it and everything, it'd probably be, who knows. You don't know until you try these things. But even if it became really soft after the fact, you know, you strain the juice, you can cool it, right? Put it in the fridge, whatever. After the fact, you can come back with some breadcrumbs, an egg, some chopped up celery, a little bit of onion, cilantro if you like that, whatever, other spices, mix it all up. Make yourself a nice little patty, egg the patty, pat it in breadcrumbs, and then fry it. And it's not going to take long because you've already processed the meat. You just want to cook the egg. So you know how egg is. Doesn't take very long. I could see myself eating that with some sour cream or cottage cheese or whatever, okay? Because you want to make it so that you're going to eat it, right? So that's just one example. So as I'm washing this fish, you know, I'm like, okay, well, this isn't working very good. You know, it's like, I made mistakes. That's what I'm saying. What I should have done, we'll just leave that for a minute. What I should have done, and I'm going to do this again, but I'm not going to do this until I'm done everything. All my wheat has to be, I still got a bag of durum wheat that I have to open up and do something with. And I got a bucket of durum wheat that's for pasta that I've got to go downstairs. And, you know, I've got some quinoa and that needs to be, you know, put in bags and vacuum sealed. And because I topped off, right? I did the cornstarch, not the cornstarch, the cornmeal to bag or whatever, or jar up, you know. So I still got those few things. I got apples, and I'm going to be working hard with these apples as soon as I'm done with these sardines, right? And I'm going to do apple mango again for sure. So good. I will do just straight up freaking applesauce. So good. You don't even know. And then after the fact of all that, after being done with the apples, then I'm going to combine mango from a can with peaches. Because mango goes well apparently with anything and everything. Because I don't want to be packing away dented cans, and I have to repurpose some of these cans that are dented. And I've got probably some downstairs too. But before I do those ones, like with the fruit that I bought back in the day, right? But before I do those ones, I want to do everything that's upstairs. Right now I'm working with apple and mango. So my next batch of canning will be apple and mango. And then I'll do applesauce, and then I'll probably do applesauce again, and then we'll see how many apples I have left, right? And if, you know, need be, I can do apple and mango again, or maybe apple and peach. That would work, because I had to put absolutely no sugar in what I made. The other day, please, none. That's how good these apples are, people. And this mango was good. Not even 1 teaspoon of sugar did I have to put in this. So that's, when you get to that point with this kind of stuff, that's great. That's why I go for these apples, because they're a variety. There's 3 different types of apples that fall from this tree. And anytime you're making applesauce, you really should be using more than one type of apple, and it makes a better applesauce. And of course, these have nothing sprayed on them. They're completely organic, so they come out at this time of the year really, really sweet. And then that mango, oh my God, you don't even know. So yeah, and then once that's done, then I look at see what cans I have left. I'll make sure I leave a few cans of mango. Well, I actually have a few cans kicking around, more than what I'll need for this with the apples. And then I'll combine the peaches and the mango just to recan them, so that they're not sitting in a can for any time, like a bent up can for any length of time. They'll have a better chance of sitting in a jar in a cool place for years. Okay, I've got peaches that I canned and pears from the tree over here that before the neighbor just killed it, okay, because I don't know, he hated trees or something, he killed the tree. This thing used to bring out the big beautiful Bartlett yellow pears. Anyway, I still have pears, and then I did boxes of peaches and stuff back then because they were affordable and you can find them. I still have them in my bedroom in that wall unit from like 14, 15 or whenever. Okay? And when you open up the jar, they're so good. So good. You don't even know. Okay, so anyway, okay, so now so I'm cleaning, I'm gutting, I'm finding that they're too soft because they're basically unthawed because they sat in the fridge for onto the third day, right? And I'm like, well, how can you do this better? Because my mom used to go fishing, right? And she'd come home with tons of sardines, fresh from the sea. And she'd put me at the sink and say, start cleaning them. I remember being at the sink cleaning sardines. I don't quite remember exactly knowing what I did, because after they were cleaned and everything, she froze them. She didn't can them, but she froze them. But before they went into the freezer, they were already, descaled, and I don't know if I gutted them. I don't remember that. I just remember being at the sink working with these stupid sardines because I was like 10 years old, right? And like there was lots of them. And she did that. So, and I would never can a sardine with its guts inside of it. The head, yes, maybe, I can understand that. And I might even go as far as breading it, egging it, breading it, frying it, and crunching on it. But outside of that, I wouldn't can anything with its guts inside. So I don't know if these women were canning this stuff for themselves, or if that's what people do, because there's really not much information on Google when it comes to canning sardines. And also, the other thing, they also canned them in a pint-sized jar. I was always, I don't want to say taught, but I was always under the impression that if you're going to do fish of any kind, you want to can them in a salmon jar, which is a half-pint sized jar. Now, you can do them with the taller ones that are a half pint, but I honestly don't know. Seriously, I don't see one here right now. I don't honestly know about a pint-sized jar, because your time, a half pint is like, okay, I have salmon that I canned back in the day when Uncle John was around, all that downstairs. Can't get to it right now. But at that point, I do have them in this size. I know that. I don't remember doing them in a pint size. Definitely this size, okay? So for a half a pint, whether you do this or this, it's 100 minutes. Some books, whatever, recipes, they'll say 110. There are other ones that will say 70 minutes, but I wouldn't do it for 70 minutes. I'd do it for 100 minutes. at least. And if I wanted to, I'd go as far as do 110. But I would never can anything in this size and then put it in the pressure canner for 100 minutes. Now, I probably could, and it'd probably be fine, but at the end of the day, it's not anything that I'm familiar with or ever grew up with, because my uncles, right, they used to can fish, namely salmon, always in half-pint size jars, preferably in a salmon size jar. So maybe I'm just stuck in the past, or I don't know. So anyway, because I'm like, okay, well, are you going to do it like those women? Because they're gutted. I could put 3 fish in here. I could do it for an hour, but, you know, like, now that I'm thinking about it, did they even gut those fish? And, like, is that what they eat? What, they take it out of the jar and they pick out the guts and look for the liver and eat the liver and take out the heart and eat the heart and throw away the intestines? Like, right? Like, what do they do with that fish? Or do they just give it to their animals? Like, who knows? I'm just saying. Because that's not the way I would do it. So, maybe that's why I slept. Because I've been kind of struggling with this, right? Because I want to, you know, I want to eat them after the fact. You know, I want them to be available after the fact. I want them to be able to sit in a jar for 5 years after the fact, if I want. Okay? I want them to taste good after the fact of canning them. I want to be able to know what I'm going to do with them when I open a jar, where, you know, I mean, yeah, we know we can always give to the cats, but at the end of the day, you know, humans come first, right? Okay, so this is important because there's really, I don't know, maybe I'll Google again and maybe I'll find more YouTube videos about sardines. It's not like I went out of my way to really go and start watching like 25 videos on canning sardines, because really, technically, it shouldn't be that hard, right? Fish is 100 minutes. If you want to go 110, you can go 110. You know, use your half-pint size jars, whether salmon or the little tall ones, right? You know, and whatever, right? Okay, so now we're going to touch, okay? Now, as I was working with these things, see, I don't even know if I could get this. I don't want to get juice everywhere. Now, this one's pretty big, if you notice. Okay? But, and if you notice, can't really see, people. I can see, but I can't see. I can't even see with these. But if I'm going to just bring this up and I'm going to show you. If you notice, when I was trying to cut it open and clean it, it didn't cut as nicely as I wanted it to. Do you see what I'm saying? Not that it matters, because it's going to disintegrate after you're done cooking it anyway, right? But there's got to be a better way, right? And the more you muck around with it, right? The more you muck around with it, it's nice and clean inside. Ran my fingers through, right? Right? The more you muck with it, you start to damage. See, I missed a little piece. You start to damage the flesh. You don't want to really be damaging the flesh, okay? You see, that's the thing, right? So I'm thinking as I'm working, and I'm like, well, this isn't working as smoothly as I'd like it to. It definitely smells like a sardine, okay? So there's got to be a better way. And some of them were scaled, descaled, some of them were not. So the next time I do this, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and work with them when they're frozen. Yeah, pretty much. And this is the way I'm going to do it, okay? Versus doing them unthawed in the sink, having little panic attacks because not everything is working out as smooth as I liked. But besides that point, I got through it. And we've got something to work with. So, but you know, next time, I'm like, okay, well, you want to, because, you know, you want to make it easy on yourself, right? So, next time, I won't be busy with other things, so there's no need to fuss. Just buy them when you're ready. I'm going to buy bag of ice, right? I'm going to make sure I have a little bit of freezer space someplace. So they come in frozen, come in with a bag of ice, and when I'm ready, then what I'm going to do is work with them frozen. The first thing I'm going to do is determine is which ones have scales and which ones don't. And I'm going to see if I can descale them basically while they're frozen. Or at least 3/4 frozen and maybe 1/4 thawed. All right? I have to go get a knife. Just hold on a minute. Now, I have other knives. Of course, I'm going to look around for, you know, you need a really good knife for this stuff, but besides that part. So, and that's where the ice comes in. So after you descale, do whatever, right? Maybe cut off the tail, right? And I'm not going to worry about this part because I'm going to tell you what I think I'm going to try to do. Or even the tail for that matter. I don't know yet. But definitely descale them. Try and descale them when they're, well, they'd have to be somewhat unthawed. Okay? Okay? And then, after you got them descaled, and they're all nicely washed, but you descale, rinse it off, put it into your ice so it stays frozen, pretty much. Because when you want to cut fish, if it's frozen, you want it like a little unthawed, and then it cuts better, and you don't mush the flesh. Whereas when they're completely unthawed, they get mushy. Because, you know, now I got a pair of scissors here. Like I'm trying to figure out, there we go. Now, little Mo liked that. I gave her and she liked it. So here we go. Now, let's just say I'm working on the next batch, okay? And, what do you call it? They're 3/4 frozen. Already washed, descaled. Right? But they still got the guts in them, okay? I have a meat cutter. An electric meat cutter that has a big blade that spins that you can open it up, right, to cut bread or whatever. I got 2 kinds, I think. I think what I would do in that situation is after they've been descaled, you know, right, before I cut them open and degut them, because I'm trying to think, how does the manufacturer do it? I'd maybe run it through my meat thing, like my my electric meat cutter or something. I have 2 different kinds. I'd have to try it out, right? To see if I can just run off the head. Well, now, mind you, I probably, if I had the proper kind of knife, I could probably cut off the head, cut off the tail, and once you cut off the head, then, well, you see, you'd still have to cut in here, right? You'd still have to open it up. But it would be like, if it's somewhat frozen, I don't know, people. You get what I'm saying, okay? Because when I opened up this can, see? When I opened up that can, The sardines came in cut like in length this way. Can you see? Like, it's probably dripping in here. They were cut like this. Right? Like this. So they cut them, and then they just placed them in nicely. And that's what I mean. Like, if I was to measure this can, I doubt there's 106 grams worth of fish. Okay, so this one here, now this one here, do you think, honestly, do you think this one piece of fish, that's pretty big, that's a big little sardine, fits all in this one can? Maybe. Maybe it's 1 fish per can, 2 fish per can, I don't know. So how do you turn this on? On. Okay, so we're going to put this on the plate. 62 grams. Okay. 62 grams for that one big fish. Okay. So, here's another one. Now, this is what I mean by, this is where I was having an issue. Do you see? That's why I'm thinking I gotta find a way to work with these things frozen. Right? So that you're not losing it through the cleaning process. Because if I cut off the head, ooh, there's guts or something in this one. See? There you go. That one has guts. Ooh. That one slipped by. Okay. Yeah, here's another one. You see, this is what I'm talking about. This is the issue that I had. Do you see what I did? I mutilated this fish. Look what I did. That you don't want to do that. Do you see? Look what I did. I'm washing the fish down the bloody drain. And I'm what is that called? Damaging the flesh. Okay, you don't really want to do that. So you got to find a way not to do that. That's why I'm thinking that it's best to probably work with these things frozen, either completely frozen, like you could cut off the heads and the necks when they're completely frozen, because they're so small. I'm sure it would go through something like my meat cutter with its spinning blade, or
come on,
or by knife if that's all you got. Boy, oh boy. Because I was struggling with this, right? Okay. Like, I don't remember doing this as a kid. I remember being at the sink, washing them, but I don't remember this part. Okay, so this one here has been kind of mutilated because I was having such a hard time because they were unthawed, right?
where? Yeah, but there's also a can in front of me and behind me.
Oh my. You have to start fresh all the time. So with these two pieces, we're looking at a 96 grams. Okay? So we've got 96 grams of sardine that somehow I have to get. Now this one's nice, right? But can I bend it? Yeah. I can bend it. This one, I kind of damaged the flesh because I was struggling with it, but that's okay. So I still got room in there. Okay? Oh, I guess I should Let's just hold on. Let's just see what we're doing here. Okay. We want 100 and, well, we're at 99 grams, right? But we can get more in there. So we're gonna do this size. Okay. Now some of them I may just leave the head in just to see what happens with that. Right. The ones that I don't do, I'll put them in their own jars. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, so we're at 0, right? Okay, that's 34 grams. 96 grams. Okay, 130. There we go. Spot on. 130, okay? At 129. Let's see if I can show you. I don't know. That's okay. It's like working outside, getting sand all over my stuff. Do you see? Right? So, technically, there should be that amount of fish in, well, no, because that one's 106 grams. Okay, so let's take out 1 and see what we get. 96. Anyway, for 96 grams, there should be at least that much in that can, being that they say you're getting $106 or 106 grams worth of product, which I can tell you some of those grams are the weight of the water. All right. Now, for what I've got here, I didn't salt this because it's my first time. Next time I might have it in the brine. I don't know yet. So you want a 1-inch headspace for sure. So try and work for that. Right. Oh boy, I don't know. But you can probably get more in there than just this. Okay? See that one there that was all I mutilated? It's just turning into mush. So there's got to be a better way. Like, there's got to be a better way. Oh. Oh boy. There's got to be a better way. That's why I'm thinking to use my my meat cutter while these things are frozen. Yeah. Because if I try and cut this into chunks, the meat just, the flesh just goes funny. But you can still do it just with a knife, right? Oh wait, so we want to see what we got here. So we had 129 grams. And we're adding another 43. So that's what? 29 and 43 is 12, carry 1, 5, 200 and what, 45? 245 grams or something like that. Okay. And that jar that I paid $5 for, $5.57, I had 220. We're past that already, okay? Oh my God. Because we're trying to, you know, we're trying to get our money's worth here, right? And I still have a bit more room. Not much, but a bit. A tail end of one anyway. Oh, God. So yeah, you can do this nicely with a knife. That one came out real nice and clean. Look at that. Okay. Well, we got to weigh it out. So it was 245, and then the 20 is 265. 265. So you got 265 grams in this salmon-sized jar. Okay? That's good. No guts, no head. Alright? Now, as for the heads, I mean, like, you kind of have to stick your fingers up in there. I don't know what part of what that is, but if you stick your finger up there, you can clean it out. You know. I mean, I'd have to look at the anatomy of a fish, but besides that point, you can get a fair amount of heads in a jar with the tails. Okay? And use them for your animals. So for the one jar, I put 4 fish of different size. No, 3 fish. Looks like 3 fish. No, 4 fish. I put 4 fish. Hold on a minute. Yeah, 4 fish and a bit into the one jar. Let me go wash my hands. Now, because I'm thinking right now, okay? You want to make soup with a little bit of fish stock? Well, and you can't get fish because we're in a depression. Well, all you have to do is go into your pantry. I'm just saying. Right? Go get yourself a jar of a bunch of little sardine fish heads. And there's the beginning of your broth for your whatever you're trying to make, if you like fishy broth. Or you can give it to your animals. Or you can heat it up, bring it to a... Well, you'd have to do it for the animals as well, but for human food, you can heat it up, bring it to a boil, put the lid on, lower the heat, 10 minutes, let it cool, right? Okay? Strain it, and then when it's ready, you can dip it in egg, flour it, breadcrumb it up, and fry it, and you can chow down. Do you see? You got multiple things that you can do with this. So you're getting more for your money. Now, through my shopping, right, in terms of, you know, piling up on shit, I did buy clams in a can. Now, I don't go out of my way to eat clam chowder, but I've had it, and it's tasty, and I'm trying to bring in diversity, and just in the event of things get real rough, and, you know, I don't want to just give my family beans and rice, beans and rice, beans and rice, beans and rice, right? You know, a nice clam chowder once in a blue moon just might break the monotony of just whatever's going on in the economy, and whatever. So in a situation like that, this is where this would come in handy in terms of creating your initial broth and then adding your clams in and whatever. I'm just saying. Alright, so this is what my little workstation looks like right now. Right? I stocked up on... I don't normally buy real Spam because it's too expensive, but Canadian Superstore had them on sale, so I bought a whole bunch of those. And then they had something else that was supposed to, and they ended up selling me their brand name, but whatever, it all works. So in the meantime, I don't know how many jars I'm going to get, but I'm going to do this now, and I'm going to get them ready for the canner, get the jars ready, and then we're going to put some olive oil into them, all of them, except for maybe the fish heads, right? I'll probably just do water and just water. Maybe just straight up water, because I may just end up using them for the cats, or maybe I'll use them for stock, or maybe I'll use them for frying them up and eating them myself, because I like things that are crunchy, right? And then, right, I'm just saying. And you can also throw in the tails with that, you can see, right? Okay? So you're not losing not even 1 cent on this situation here, okay? And then, in terms of the liquid smoke, I am going, and then we've got this. I'm debating whether I should just go give that to the raccoons and the possums and just whatever, or maybe I'll pick through it and I'll just can up a couple of jars for the cats and just add it with the pork and the gizzards. It's stuff that I know I wouldn't eat. And I'm definitely write cat food on it, right? You know. And then this here, for every, it's 1 tablespoon to 8 parts. 8 tablespoons is a half a cup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 cup of liquid to start anyway, with 2 tablespoons of liquid smoke. I'm going to taste it, and then I'm going to adjust the taste. If I want a little more smoky, you know, I'll add a little more. If it's fine, then some of them are going to be canned with that liquid, and some of the fish will be just with salt and water, right? And olive oil. And some will be with olive oil, water, well, hickory smoke water with a bit of salt and maybe some pepper or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how to be very creative with this outside of what I'm telling you. So I gotta get up on it. Hold on.
On your car,
turn on.
On your
I did.
windows recently. This is coating everything.
Oh.
And
Okay, so now when those women were doing what they were doing, they were actually using scissors. I don't know what kind of scissors they were using, but I decided to try scissors, and I'm finding it's easy peasy. Okay, this is just some sewing scissors that I don't sew with anymore. It works out really good, and it works out fast. And you can either curl them in like I showed you, or you can, when you get to the, you just cut them in half. Okay? And fill up your jar. It's working out really, really good. It's going fast. Now, I did, see, I missed some scales. I did rinse these off. Alright? Took out what I put in a jar. I rinsed it off. Because, I slept, right? I should have canned these yesterday, but it's okay. So I'm just letting you know, you don't have to use a knife for this. Scissors do seem to work really good. It will go faster for you. It's less stress. So I don't know. You won't be able to cut them when they're frozen with scissors, I don't think. But I still might try the meat. What is that called? Some of them I'm just going to put in whole. Some of them I'm whatever. The meat. The meat cutter, the electric meat cutter, I still might try that to cut off the head and the tail, at least the head, so that I can gut it more easily versus what I went through, because I didn't like that. Right? I'd have to try that, but before I do that, they'd have to be frozen. Right? And then like 3/4 frozen by the time...
the other 3 haven't fully matured.
By the time
makes things difficult for all plants.
You go to gut them, because you have to open up a little bit. But this cutting with a knife, working really good, working fast. And then what I'm doing is I'm just taking the tails and everything, and I'm just putting them in a container here, and then after the fact, because I don't know how many jars this is going to take.
Lupins are just one of 10
Right.
crops Jan Wittenberg is harvesting this year. He already harvested a great portion of his field.
And then if you
before the
miss
dry
something,
spell
like I
began.
just missed there,
In general,
you can
he
take it out.
opposes irrigating fields.
And look how nice that is. But I still wouldn't use a pint-sized jar. I don't know. You probably can. I don't know. It's not anything I'm familiar with. It's not what I'm going to recommend. I'm going to recommend the half pints because that's basically what the 100 minutes is kind of geared around. And if you are going to do a pint size, then I would say probably go towards 110 minutes anyway. Oh boy, I can really smell the ocean. Oh yeah, the salt water, right? Yeah. So I don't know. This is not going in there very good.
Back on Spitsbergen,
But
Picarada
this is
and
faster
Arne headed to a field outside the New Alesund research
with
center.
scissors.
They're studying a piece of land that was previously iced over
So-
all year round.
That's the whole purpose of these videos, to give you ideas.
It's very uneven though.
Right?
Every stretch of ground is a little bit different.
Some will be whole, some will be cut in
Once a
half.
month, Picarada hammers down these
Nothing
holes
fancy.
into what's called permafrost to assess
I
how
don't.
much it's thawed.
But there's got to be a better way to.
Can you check if
You
the
got
pole's
them.
still moving?
It really has to
Hold
be.
it here.
So next batch, I'm going to make sure I have ice.
It's not moving anymore.
I'm going to tackle them when they're frozen versus unthawed. When I'm doing the prep on them. Right? After I'm done, and
Depth is 95
these are in the
centimeters.
canner, what I'll do is I'll open up that 106 grams.
But as I mentioned, the
I will
ground
take it
is
out,
very
put it
uneven,
on that
so it
plate,
varies greatly.
and then
Weigh
weigh it, and we'll see exactly how much fish we get.
And always measure
Okay?
the same exact hole, so we know very precisely
Because
what each specific
so
hole
far my
changes.
jar came in at what, 265?
Fika also has to
Right.
swap out a filter that collects the CO2
So that's pretty good.
produced by the thawed soil.
So on the bottom you can kind of curl them in.
There's a filter
I think I picked up some kind of cold or something.
coming out of the soil.
Yeah,
And scientists can analyze
maybe.
CO2 it is, whether it's CO2
'Cause
that's
I
been
slept.
released by plants that are grown
But
here
mind you,
now,
I've been
or they are fresh in the soil.
pushing, like I said,
Or
myself
whether
hard,
it's
so
CO2 that's been released by the soil
no,
itself.
it's okay though.
In other words,
I'm coming near the end of all this.
organic material that's been in the soil for many years and is now being
When you
released
get the bottom layer going, right, you do the bottom layer,
Of the soil further drives climate change.
you're gonna have to go half size,
So there are exchanges between
and
the
then just
soil
kind of lay them in there.
partly of gases
Fit them
and
in
partly
however
of
you
heat
can.
and moisture flows.
Right.
And that in turn has an impact on the climate and the
And you can do
processes
this
reflected in this coupled
with any
system
fish.
between the atmosphere and the soil.
April doesn't like sardines. She likes octopus
Climate change has
in a
altered
can.
the wind, and the altered
I don't know
wind
how much it costs to buy
changes
fresh
the Arctic
octopus, but I would think
glaciers and
that
sea ice are retreating.
the canning time would be the
The jet
same
stream is more
in terms of
often
100
sluggish
minutes
as a
or
result.
110 in the pressure canner after the
Heat
fact.
waves that lead to crop failures and parched forests are
You know,
becoming more likely.
Try and
As are
try and
devastating
stay with
heavy
the
rainfall.
half pint size jars if you
But there
can,
is still time to act.
right? Just because. So yeah, so when you can curl in on the bottom, but you're probably going to have to layer them in. I don't know if you can see that, but kind of like in a row there, right? Try and give yourself a 1-inch headspace anyway. Push them down, right? Don't worry if you're, you know, like they unthawed in the fridge for 3 days. I washed and gutted them. I was going to can them the next day, but I slept,
To remove greenhouse
and now
gases
I'm
from the
canning them
atmosphere
today.
is to increase
Okay?
the amount of forest
I'm just
area
saying.
worldwide.
They are fine.
Marcus Janssen and Herbert Schultz from the Mecklenburg-Western Pomerania State Forest
Okay.
are doing reforestation work at a former conservation area near Schwerin.
I've just been overdoing it.
We're in the process of forming
And
a
like
new
when I
tree
get these
population.
orders coming in from,
Doing it
you
now
know,
with
these
hardwood.
stores,
Our colleagues are
and
in the
all these
process of
strangers
planting
touching my
ground
shit.
because we want to establish a population
You
that's
seen that when
well
I
equipped to
picked up
handle
that
dry summers
package of
and ongoing periods of
icing
drought.
sugar. As soon as I picked up
We're
that
not
package of
relying on
icing
spruces
sugar,
and certainly not on
oh my God,
monocultures. We're developing
my
a
nose
mixed
went off like a
forest.
rocket. Started running like a waterfall. Yeah.
Everything going to plan?
Same thing when I was working with that, what was it, pork?
Roots okay?
Opened up that pork package that was frozen pork yet to boot. Yeah.
Reforesting this area
As soon as
will
I
take
did
a
that,
lot of time, work,
when
and
I was
money.
doing that stuff, my nose
It will
started
be
to run.
decades before the targeted
So certain
marketing of
things just,
individual
I don't know.
trees becomes profitable.
Just, I don't know.
We don't know what the tree species of the future
People
will be.
shedding shit.
There are
That's what it
certain
is.
tree species we expect to have better characteristics than others
Working
to
too
withstand
hard.
these changing environmental conditions, like droughts in summertime,
Yeah.
dry periods, extreme heat.
I'm hoping that I'll have
Trees
just
today
enough
in a
jars,
variety of trees spread the risk and
because
bring in
I'm
different tree
running out of
species.
salmon jars now. Because I use them for those, for Amari's little things,
This single
right?
reforestation project won't increase the global forest area. It's about repairing damage, which is also
I don't really got
urgently
much to
needed
say.
address climate change.
Other than
But it's no
doing
easy
this
task.
stuff. Right?
If you look at the current climate models and projections, which look very bleak,
I'm
in
not
parts,
taking off
you really worry about
the little
which tree
fins and
species will
stuff
survive
because
in
I'm
the future,
thinking that
or how
they'll
our forests
probably
will look in 2100, or
soften
whether
up
it's just a matter of preserving them somehow and
in the,
storing CO2. Perhaps the economy will take a back
pressure
seat.
canning process.
That could happen.
See, I don't know about this chewing up. Maybe a small pair of, what are those things? Like
Researchers are
Well,
looking for a way not only to remove
little scissors,
greenhouse
little
gases
teeny
from the
weeny
atmosphere,
scissors.
but
Because using a knife to open it up, to gut it, didn't work very well. But maybe like a really fine pair, which I would have in my sewing room, really fine pair of little sewing scissors. Right? If it cuts like nice with sewing scissors, why not with you know, they're thread scissors. When you cutting your threads, they're small, right?
These two components are separated
That
from
might
the
work
air.
better
At
to
some
open
point,
it up.
This filter is fully loaded and
Okay?
sort of locks its doors, both
Yeah,
front
I
and
think
back.
so. So you might want to, if you're going to do something like this, you might want to make sure you've got some good scissors.
Come down from the
Okay?
filter and be extracted.
2 pairs.
Then the water
One to
is
open it up,
and you have
small,
pure CO2.
and one to,
Carbon monoxide is
cut off the
isolated
head
from
and the tail.
CO2 and enriched with hydrogen.
alright? Because it's better than a knife.
The mixture
You don't know these
contains
things until you
high levels
try.
of Carbon, which is the basis
Right?
of combustion fuels.
I'm making it
CO2
easy
from
for
the
you.
atmosphere is to
I'm
replace
giving you
oil,
ideas.
gas, and coal.
Alright? And then of course as you go about whatever you're doing, you're going to be thinking and you're going to come up with your own ideas. And make it better for yourself, or you're going to be satisfied with the way you're doing it. Either or. As long as you get them in a jar, get them canned up. I mean, already, you know, I like to think I'm saving money. These jars have been kicking around for a long time. Alright? These are not new, these are old ones. Alright? And so it's not costing me anything. And I already have lids. I just have to get them.
The idea is to filter CO2 from the air
Yeah.
and replace fossil fuels climate
And
neutral.
apparently my neighbor is going to give me some lids. So you're going to
These technologies have been extremely
come across...
costly.
See, I can't see, I can only feel it.
I believe that this method is indispensable
Scales.
for combating climate change. We have no real alternatives to kerosene.
So
for
definitely
certain
try and
applications,
scale them
such as
maybe
long
before
distance air
you
travel.
try and gut them. Definitely get yourself 2 pairs of scissors, 2 different sizes for 2 different reasons.
Then I basically
And
have a cycle. When it's burned, it of course creates CO2 in the atmosphere again.
Ugh.
But because I've extracted my CO2...
Okay, Andre, you want to come turn this off for Nana? I just wanted to tell them about this. Come show them.
On his fields in Lower Saxony,
Show them. No, show what's going on. Right? That's how easy it is.
also factors in the changing
Right?
wind conditions by making use of
Cuts really good.
With a wind like this,
Right?
I can imagine that a row of trees can serve as
You want to show them?
Alright, dude.
Alright then. Okay, so I've got everything all jarred up. Pack them in tight. Try and give yourself a 1-inch head space. Right? This is the heads and the tails. There's 4 of them there. Okay? I put them in these, but I didn't have enough. Is this one? I can't tell. I think I got everything in the 4 jars. This is the guts and the liver and the whatever and whatever and whatever. I could put them in here and save them for cat food, but you know, I got a raccoon that likes to raid the cat food and other animals that roam my yard. I think and the cats, some of them, they already like this stuff. So I think I'm just going to put it outside. Yeah, I think so. Because I can't really see. I'd separate what I could, but I can't. So now what I'm going to do is going to clear this off, get the canner ready, and then we're going to add a tablespoon, or maybe 2, at least a tablespoon. A tablespoon of oil in each jar, right? Not here. Here I'm just going to put water, okay? Half of these, I'm going to do 1 cup of hickory smoke, okay? And then we'll see how many jars we get with the 1 cup of hickory smoke. Otherwise, it's going to be water, and I don't know, a little bit of salt, I suppose. But these are already salty, so I wouldn't put very much. I'd only put like a 1/4 teaspoon. Yeah. I mean, I could maybe put a couple things of pepper. Some people put lemon juice and all this other stuff, but I don't want to get creative with it. I just want to keep it simple, right? So hold on a minute. Okay, so I just got some olive oil. This one is President Choice. Brand new. Extra virgin. Still. I've got it rough, people. Okay. I have another bottle kicking around here, but I can't find it right now. So hopefully I'll be able to see this. So I'm putting oil in all of them. The only thing is I don't see very well. So 1 tablespoon per jar. And then I'm going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of salt per jar. And then I'm going to make 1 cup of water to 2 tablespoons of hickory smoke, and then I'm going to see how far that 1 cup goes in terms of filling up the jar with water. Well, with that liquid, okay? Now I need to actually, I need to pay attention to what I'm doing here. Right. Okay. It's getting harder and harder to do this stuff. I prefer to try and do these during the day. Alright. It's these drops too, you know. I put these drops, he's got me going with this 1 drop that I put in both eyes, and my eyes get all wigged out for like 2 hours. And they're dry, and just nose running, and just... I have another drop over there, but I haven't been using it. The one that he did the laser surgery on, it didn't work, right? It's because there's something else going on with me, that's why.
and in his honor, his successors were known.
So this is pretty much about a tablespoon. Now those other ones that I bought, I think they're honestly canned straight up olive oil. I honestly don't think there's any water in it. But whatever, that's for another day. I haven't even, and they put cucumber in there and all these different little spices. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. This is the first time I've done this, so I'm just keeping it pretty simple. As simple as I can. Okay, this jar seems to be low on fish. So, I don't know what to do about that. I might be able to cut them up and piece them into these jars. I'm going to have to do that because that's not full enough. No, I don't think so.
And perhaps most important of all, he persuaded the Roman people that one person rule could work.
If it's not one thing, it's something else, right?
Caesar would change Roman history.
Isn't that the way it goes?
Little boots, aren't they sweet? The kind of thing
Really not enough in there.
Man go gaga.
I know about that.
2,000 years ago,
There's a gap.
early centurions on the fringe of the Roman Empire made a pair of tiny shoes for a toddler, and they gave him the nickname Little Boots. The name
These are pretty full
years
though.
later, when the toddler became the Roman emperor, he was
I'm not
still
going to be able
called
to get
Little Boots.
much.
Or as they say in Latin, Caligula.
I don't know. What I can do though, keep it simple on myself. Maybe I'll just put a fish head in there. Here's an idea. Why don't I do that? This one was a little low, so I put a head in there. Right? Right.
Having his favorite singer played alive while complimenting him on the
Keep it simple, right?
But was he really like that?
So they all got oil.
Why was there a public outcry when he was assassinated? And if he was bombed,
Okay.
why did they make him emperor in the first place? So how mad was he?
So I paid what? What was it? No, 4 something. 4.57 I think it was. For 750 grams. Okay, what am I looking for now? Of course I moved it, right? Oh, I know where it is.
Oh, what the?
There we go. I'm just going to use this salt, right? So I think it was like 4.57. It was cheap. It was under $5. I don't think it was 4.97. I think it was 4.57. But we'll just say $5 a bag, including delivery. I got 5 bags, so it was $25, approximately, give or take a little bit, right? I already had the jars. Already have the lids. I'm not worried about that. So, and we're getting about, what was it, 265 grams or so in weight of fish.
The reality, though, is that he was born here in Antium in South Italy on the 31st of August in the year 12 AD. Antium,
in a 250 size gram
equivalent of the Hamptons, a summer playground
mill or whatever it is.
just a little bit away from town. Caligula's real name
250 mils
was the third
jar.
son of a wealthy family, and if he didn't have his nickname yet,
Can get in.
everything else you can imagine. His father was the legendary.
Do you think a quarter teaspoon is too much? Maybe I should be doing an 1/8 now.
But he was far more.
Just shake it down a bit.
Adopted Germanicus as his heir. Caligula
You don't have to, but I'm doing it.
His mother's side was no less auspicious. She was the
I'll just shake off, make it a very flat.
charismatic leadership and made the concept
Is this thing even recording? I can never tell because I can't see. Yeah.
Although Caligula was their third son, he could never have predicted he'd become emperor himself. We know Caligula was a sickly child and he was spoiled rotten, but he also seems to have been something of a prodigy. His father used to travel to the outposts of the empire, and sometimes he'd take his whole family with him. Clearly, Caligula picked up his father's diplomatic skills
because you usually put about a half a teaspoon in a pint, right? And a teaspoon in a quart. So I'm doing a quarter teaspoon. I am going to do it with the heads as well. You probably don't have to, because you don't have to put it in meat, but I'm doing it anyway. Or you could do an eighth if you wanted to. Whatever you want. Because these are salty, right? So how many jars do we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 jars at about 260 grams per jar. I'll have to use a calculator to calculate how many grams that is. And then divide it by, I guess, 130, because you can get 130. But this is 106. I don't know if I've got any 130s around. I'm not going to go looking around for 130 grams. Pretty sure I read 130. And then just kind of divide whatever and whatever and whatever. Okay, so then now you can see what's going on here. Alright, so we got the olive oil in it. We've got, that's the fish heads and the tails. That's the fish. One has a head in it, just because. And then I'm going to use my little measuring cup. And we're going to do this. So hold on. Alright, so I found, I don't know, this hickory, I don't know if it's me or what, but 1 cup to 2 tablespoons of hickory smoke was too diluted for me. So I think I doubled it, right? I just added another one and another tablespoon, another tablespoon. I think I got like 4 tablespoons and I'm like, well, you better slow down. So anyway, I just used it until there was none left in terms of what I mixed up. And this is all with hickory smoke. Now, how strong it's going to be, I don't know. These two are the ones with just the salt and the olive oil, right? In terms of adding pepper and all that, I'm not going to do that because whatever I do with it after the fact, I still have to heat it up, right? Blah, blah, blah. So if, as it's after it's heated and stuff, you know, bring it to a boil. Well, we know that, right? Put lid on, turn it down, 10 minutes. Okay, and then taste it. And then if you want pepper or lemon or whatever you want, you can add it then. I'm just saying. Because it's not like you can just open the jar and eat right out of it like you can with a can. So I'm not too concerned about trying to flavor it up outside of this has hickory smoke, it has olive oil, and it has salt. And just remember, if you're using olive oil, it leaches out some of the omega-3 from the fish itself, and the omega-3 goes into the liquid. So try and use the liquid so that you don't lose those nutrients, right? And like I'm thinking like Great Northern White beans, Cantatelli beans. You know, that's kind of like what I'm leaning towards in terms of, well, what else can you do with this stuff, right? Whether you mash up the beans and mash up the fish and throw in a bit of potato and onion and throw your liquid in there so you don't lose your omega-3s, and make patties and fry them up after the fact, or whether you make your beans with some vegetables or whatever, and then you've got your fish in there with the juice. I mean, there's many ways you can use this, right? So, as for lids, I'm going to put H for head for these 4, and S for salt for these 2, so I know what is what when it goes into the canner. And of course we know these ones will have hickory smoke, so I'll write hickory smoked sardines and then the date, right? And then sardines with salt, right? Olive oil or something. We'll see. Now I clean the rims, put the lids on, put them in the canner, and it's 100. I'm doing 100 minutes.
Array of industries.
So I'm listening to something
here.
here.
Is most palpable within the grocery sector.
Let's listen.
This
Talk about
development has left
Costco's.
loyal Costco customers who willingly pay annual membership fees ranging from $1.60 to $1.00 in a state of shock and frustration. Several specific instances underline the severity of these price increases. For instance, a 40-pack of Kirkland-branded water bottles, which was priced at a mere $1.44 a year ago, now commands $4.99, signifying a staggering 250% escalation. Likewise, king crab legs have more than doubled in cost over a year, climbing from $23 per pound to a whopping $48 per pound, marking a staggering 110% increase. Costco's signature Kirkland Signature thick sliced bacon has swelled by over 60%.
Oh, we got that in my bedroom, canned.
Soaring from $10.99
some in the freezer too,
for a 3-pound package,
assuming my son doesn't eat it.
99 cents. Even beloved items like the Just Bare lightly breaded chicken breast chunks, which previously could be acquired for $1.13 for a 4-pound bag, now come at a price of $19.99. Similarly,
Primo turkey
has surged from $8 to $14.99, while basic items such as cucumbers have risen from $2.99.
Cat food, chicken, by default, human food.
Furthermore, the trend extends to various meat products, including steak, beef, chicken, bacon, and salmon, with some experiencing price hikes exceeding 100%. The
duck wings!
Of these price surges are clearly visible through the myriad of sentiments expressed by consumers on social media platforms, particularly on Reddit. Shoppers are increasingly disillusioned and distressed as they grapple with the startling rise in costs for everyday essentials.
But nothing seemed to have popped
they are
yet.
contending with the challenge of finding certain items in stock due to heightened demand and supply shortages, further adding to their shopping woes.
I missed that. What was he talking about?
Costco extends
I want
to
to run that back.
Items that families depend on daily. Products like milk, eggs, and butter have seen price hikes ranging from 27% to a whopping 60%. Even produce and frozen berries are not spared, with increases ranging from 10% to 45%. Household staples like paper towels and dishwasher liquid have faced price hikes of up to 37%. 3-pound package to $17.99. Even beloved items like the Just Bare lightly breaded chicken breast chunks, which previously could be acquired for $1.13 for a 4-pound bag, now come at a price of $19.99. Similarly, the cost of butter has surged from $8 to $14.99, while basic items such as cucumbers have risen from $2.99 to $5.99 for a 3-pack. Furthermore, the trend extends to various meat products, including steak, beef, chicken, bacon, and salmon, with some experiencing price hikes exceeding 100%. The ramifications of these price surges are clearly visible through the myriad of sentiments expressed by consumers on social media platforms, particularly on Reddit. Shoppers are increasingly disillusioned and distressed as they grapple with the startling rise in costs for everyday essentials. Additionally, they are contending with the challenge of finding certain items in stock due to heightened demand and supply shortages, further adding to their shopping woes. Meanwhile, the cost surge at Costco extends to a range of essential items that families depend on
It's
daily.
not just one country.
Products like milk, eggs, and butter
all
have
countries.
seen price hikes ranging from 27% to a whopping 60%. Even produce and frozen berries are not spared, with increases ranging from 10% to 45%. Household staples like paper towels and dishwasher liquid have faced price hikes of up to 37%. Pantry staples such as rice, beans, flour, and pasta can now cost up to 32% more compared to their 2022 prices. These escalating costs are putting pressure on consumers' budgets, making it increasingly challenging to manage their household expenses. The frustration doesn't stop at higher prices alone. It's also compounded by frequent product shortages at Costco stores. Customers are often met with empty shelves when searching for items such as muffins, bread, bagels, and popular snacks like spinach artichoke dip and Cliff Bars. Even products like shrimp chips, orange chicken, and chicken pot pie, which were once readily available, are now harder to come by. These inventory shortages add to the frustration of shoppers who are already grappling with the rising costs of their groceries. The impact of these price hikes and product shortages has become a point of discussion not only among consumers, but also on social media. In a notable instance, Stephanie Lord, a politician from New Mexico, took to social media to share her frustration about Costco's price increases. She posted an image of a $800 receipt from a Costco shopping trip on June 20th, 2023, where 58 items were purchased, with only 9 of them being non-food items like paper towels, plastic bags, trash bags, and razors. The tweet garnered significant attention.
It's the way they
and was
price the
viewed
food,
more than
people.
4
That's
million
why.
times. While some questioned the authenticity of the bill because not all items were visible in the photo,
You're looking
others
at $3
pointed
to
out that
$5
even
per
without
item.
expensive items, the
For
average
basic
cost per
stuff.
item was $13.79, illustrating the
Unless, of
rising
course,
cost
you're going
of
into
everyday
Sardines, you'll get them
essentials
at
Costco.
$2 a can.
In response to these escalating
how much do
prices
you
and
get?
the evolving buying habits of consumers, Costco's executives find themselves navigating a complex economic landscape. They argue that the persistently high general cost of goods has left retailers like Costco with little choice but to spend more to acquire the items they stock on their shelves. These added procurement costs, naturally, are transferred to consumers in the form of higher prices, a trend that has caused alarm and consternation among the loyal Costco customer base. This price surge extends across a wide array of products, affecting everything from everyday essentials like milk, eggs, and butter to pantry staples like rice, beans, flour, and pasta, all of which have witnessed increases ranging from 27% to 60%. Even non-food items like paper towels and dishwasher liquid have seen price hikes of up to 37%. These substantial increases are not only impacting household budgets, but also reshaping the way consumers approach their shopping lists. Galvanizing this economic reality is the shifting buying behavior of shoppers. Richard Galanti, Costco's chief financial officer, has noted that some customers are altering their purchasing patterns, opting for less expensive options, such as pork and canned fish over beef products. This shift in preferences aligns with historical data that has shown consumers becoming more frugal during periods of economic downturn. Furthermore, consumers are increasingly gravitating towards products with extended shelf lives, driven by a sense of preparedness for potential challenges that may emerge in the months ahead. In the face of hyperinflation or the threat of job loss due to a recession, shoppers see the value in stocking up on non-perishable items, enabling them to make the most of their savings and unemployment income. Adding to the narrative is a recent report from the Federal Reserve, which underscores the severity of the situation. This report reveals that a significant 2/3 of Americans have transitioned to purchasing cheaper alternatives to make ends meet in the midst of inflation. Among these consumers, 66% have adopted a strategy of exclusively buying generic brands to save money. This broad-based trend reflects the growing financial strain faced by American households as they contend with the rising costs of goods and services across the board. Richard Galanti also shared concerning figures pertaining to Costco's sales
These are clean.
performance.
I've already washed
The
these a
average
long time
daily
ago.
transaction or ticket size has witnessed a decline of 4.2% worldwide and 3.5% within the United States.
I don't always use
this
the
downturn
jars
is primarily attributed to weaknesses in larger
when I'm
ticket
canning because I
non-food
have too much.
discretionary items, which have seen a significant decline in sales. Notably, the e-commerce segment has been hit hard, with a noteworthy decrease of 10% in sales. Big-ticket discretionary departments such as Major's home furnishings, small electronics, jewelry, and hardware have collectively experienced a 20% decrease in e-commerce sales, constituting a substantial portion of the decline.
S for salt.
In essence, while Costco may not stand alone in grappling with price increases and declining sales, it serves as a telling indicator of a much larger economic issue. As we approach the latter part of 2023,
H for head.
there is a growing consensus that the recession is not merely a looming specter, but a tangible reality gathering momentum. In response to this challenging economic climate, consumers are urged to prepare for the ongoing headwinds as the need for budget-conscious shopping and prudent financial planning becomes increasingly evident. The choices made at the checkout aisle now carry even greater significance in navigating these turbulent economic waters. As we delve deeper into the complexities of rising prices, shifting buying patterns, and economic challenges, it raises a critical question for viewers. How are you adapting to these changing times and navigating the economic landscape? Are you altering your shopping habits, exploring alternatives, or stocking up on essentials for the uncertain future? Your insights and strategies can be invaluable to others facing similar challenges. We encourage you to like and subscribe to stay updated on crucial topics like these and join our community of informed viewers. Your engagement helps us continue to provide valuable information and insights that matter in these ever-changing times.
Okay, I'm going to turn this off, or just see if it will just stay off. So, a couple of things. First, when you're wiping these rims, you have to go, like, when you're doing this, and it's taking a while, right? With sticky things like this kind of stuff. Yeah, this would happen. Hold on a minute.
Music app altogether. One subscription, 2 apps. Try 1 month free of charge.
You know, because of the fats and everything, right? You know, they get sticky, they stick to the rim, and by the time you come along to wipe the rim, it's dried on a bit, right? So you kind of have to scrub them, well, not scrub them, but rub them, you know, rub it, give it a good rub, right? You can kind of feel if there's something stuck on there, right? So then you have to take it off as best as you can. Now, there's going to be some kind of siphoning, more than likely, right? There always usually is, but I'm not too worried about it. I'm pretty much at a 1-inch head space, right? Those fish, they leached out a lot already, so I'm not, like I said, I'm not too worried about it. Now the canner is, the water is cold, everything's, you know, nothing's hot here. So, once we get them in the canner, then that's when we'll turn up the heat. Oh yeah. The thing about what's going on is the fact that, what do you call it? It's not like one country like Venezuela or Haiti or Cuba. You know, Cuba, they've been like with no food, limited food. Well, they have food, but it's in pretty dire strait, right? Venezuela is the same way, right? Cuba, and I already said Cuba, right? Haiti is another one that's in pretty rough shape. But we're going everywhere now, like almost every country to some degree or another. Some are just being more reported on than others, right? And some aren't even really talking about it, but like India, for example, I guess they stopped all their exports of all rice now. I don't know, that's what I heard. That's what I heard, right? It's not just non-bus, whatever. It's like everything. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. The point is, oh my God. The point is, the point is, you know, the countries that haven't had to face this kind of stuff, we're facing it now, right? And it's like right across the board. It's creeping into the UK, Germany, Italy, places like that, right? It's all through the United States, it's throughout Canada, you know. I said in the past, in my past videos, what do we got here? That, grocery stores were going to become like display cases, like a museum. They were going to become like a museum. People were going to go in there and just look at things. Right? How many of these did I get? Oh. How many down here? 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. I don't know. I don't know how many jars I got going on here, people. Maybe too many. I thought I had... I'm doing something wrong here. I should be able to get 8 on the bottom and 8 on top. No, I can't do that. 2, 4, 6, 8. Well, I guess there is 8 there. So, we have food now. We can do this now. But what's going to happen in 5 years if things don't correct themselves, to which doesn't look like our politicians want it to correct itself. Okay? Because they're planning to go into the bunkers. Right? Assuming that many of them are even real, so what the fuck do they care? They don't care. The ones that are not real, they don't care. Because they're programmed not to care. Right? Like in terms of a clone or something like that. Robotoid, you know, half slash, fucking hybrid human, who knows. Definitely not normal though, that's for sure. Like Trudeau is not what you think he is. Alright. So we got 16 jars of that. At about, well, I would think the fish heads are probably a little not as much in weight because, you know, they're not completely full, but there's meat and stuff in them, that's for sure. So I gotta go find everything, get this going, and then I gotta stand here for an hour, and that's when I'll bring the pine needles. So I'll be back. Okay, so we're gonna open up this can. Ooh, this is wet. I wiped everything down. And we're gonna measure just the fish, not the liquid. It should be interesting to see. It's not like people actually go out of their way to measure things, right? You're supposed to be 106 grams. This is how they, I guess they use scissors. Look how nice that is. I'm assuming there's no guts in there. You know what I'm saying? Haven't quite figured out how to de-gut it yet. Where it's not never stop to think about it. No, there's no guts in them. I think de-gutting them would be better to try and do it when they're frozen somewhat. But either or, I'm working on it. I'm not going to be doing this again for a while because I want to do everything else. The apples, the mangoes, the peaches. I probably got pineapple that need to be recanned or whatever. I got to put away the durum wheat still. The cornmeal.
Christian worked in the ecology department.
What else?
His job was to make cars.
Yeah, they're being chintzy on this, people. And quinoa. I got another bag of vanilla sugar.
He was expecting a big promotion, but
okay.
Instead of getting a raise, he got kicked out of the car company 3 days later.
All right.
Since then, he realized how big an impact his discovery could be. Blessed with
it's coming in at 101 grams. Okay. Well, they said what? 106. So I guess it's 5 grams of water. You see? I don't know if you can see that. So now the other one is supposed to be 130 grams. I'm pretty sure I read that correct. Yeah. Because these ones here is supposed to be 220 grams. But this one is just canned in straight up olive oil.
Just the size of a matchbox.
Right?
Plugs under the dashboard.
This shit makes me nervous. I have that heart of steel. I'll be doing the dance now. Okay.
The installation is easy and takes less than 30 seconds. Just plug it in and it works. Fuel Save Pro instantly reduces fuel costs without any need. 80% of Canadians are struggling through this point.
Oh my God.
That's why we invented Fuel Save Pro wants as many people as possible to know about their latest invention. But 6 weeks after they started selling the chip, it got sued by 2 big oil companies. They already stopped distributing it over Canada and forced them to sell exclusively. Now they're trying to take that away too, and it looks like they'll succeed. Today it's already used
That is a very old stove.
Saving them thousands in fuel costs each year. And if you want similar results, here's what you need to do. Click the link below to visit the
What the hell is this going on?
Claim a 50% discount. The founders of Fuel Save Pro are so confident in the product that they are offering a 30-day money-back guarantee with no questions asked. But you're not afraid of gas prices.
No, can't see it, people.
Orders are coming fast. So
Spanish style, anyway.
Fuel Save Pro with a 50%
in oil,
immediately
in olive oil, and it says corn oil. So this is in olive oil and corn oil. So I would suspect no water. And it's a lug lid, to which I think you can pressure can with lug lids too. It's just, you can't screw these things on tight, right? Because it's the rubber underneath that ends up sealing the jar in the end. As long as things can escape, right? So that's another day anyway. Okay, and then what happens is I always drink the juice. Doesn't matter, right? That's why I like the little bit of oil, right? I don't remember. I think it's just the soy oil and salt. That's it. Now, next time, I might put it in brine, but for now, like mine, right? I'll make a sandwich with that later. So 101 grams. So next time I do an order, I'm going to order some sardines at 130 grams. And I'm going to take one can and I'm going to weigh it out and see how much we get. Probably 125 grams. Right, so I'm going to calculate 125 grams at, we're going to round it off at $2 a can. And then, because Canadian Superstore is $2.19 a can, Walmart's $1.97 with the soy oil, so I'm just going to round it off at $2 a can. And I'm going to calculate what I got for my money for the fresh fish that was frozen. just kind of do a little bit of math just to see how many cans I would have to buy in order to get what I've got in there. Right? The only difference is you can't open up your jar and eat straight up like this. Because it's a completely different canning process.
So now you just go buy fruit.
But yeah, no. I need to save that for a sandwich. Too many countries are facing the same issue where there's pockets, I guess, where the more affluent individuals live, where their grocery stores tend to be a bit more stocked better with better produce or whatever, where when you get into your average middle class, lower income, impoverished communities, you're getting store after store after store with gaps, with more more gaps in the shelving, and obviously the cost of food is more expensive, and products are disappearing, but it's not like it's just happening in Haiti. It's not like it's just happening in Cuba. It's not like it's just happening in Venezuela or other places like that, or that we're on the continent of Africa. It's more like it's happening in all countries to some degree. It's just that not all countries are reporting on it, right? Like what's really going on in China? If you notice, China's been pretty quiet in terms of the numbers of people going hungry in their country, right along with India, because you have to remember both of those countries have over 1 billion people, right? And I don't know. And if we keep on this path, people, and it's going pretty fast, it's happening pretty fast. Now you're starting to see it, right? And at the rate that we're going, 5 years from now, I mean, like, it's like a pressure cannon. It's building, it's building, it's building. And sooner or later, something's going to explode. Because the pressure cannon itself is empty, like when I boiled away all that water. And I'm like, gee, John, it's 110 minutes. It's 100 minutes. Like, like, I'm getting kind of concerned that maybe there might be no water in the pressure canner. What would happen if the water ran out, John? Well, I don't know. Just, hang in there, Judy. I'll be like, yeah, okay, John. Oh, and then finally I get to turn off the freaking canner. I open it up, and there's not even a teaspoon of water in the bloody thing. Because I was running it on fucking max. Yeah, because I didn't know, right? It said when it jiggles, and then it stops, and it jiggles, and it stops, and it jiggles, and it stops. Well, I was jiggling so much that all the water went into the air. Well, it's the same kind of thing. That's what's happening right now. From country to country to country. How do you recoup? How do you recoup your losses? When you're just compounding on the loss after loss after loss after loss. More gaps, less and less, and costs going higher. Like this is being done by our politicians, people. Our local politicians, our provincial politicians, our federal politicians, and their partner groups, whether it's directly linked to organized religion, because for whatever reason they're insulated, or maybe some of those individuals aren't human themselves. I do believe that. Well, I don't know. Anyway, I'll come back at some point. I don't know if I'm going to calculate this stuff out tonight. Probably not. I'm tired.
This one I do know.
I'm just going to come back and I'm going to show you what I'm working on.
So we're running around here talking to some people that have been living right here in what Bruce would call Squatter City. And we're just trying to tell them, like, what is it that you're looking at?
What this is probably, because I live on the West Coast, a western white pine. The other pine needles that I'm working with is a red pine, because it has 2 needles coming out per thing, where this one has 5, and they're very soft and velvety, and you know, right? And I'm going to sit and pick, these ones come out really easy, so I'm going to sit and pick these ones out, because this is good for tea, right? High in vitamin C. That's what I'm going to do while I'm standing here. Yeah. I don't want a pressure can for a while. I'm just going to work with the apples and the mangoes and stuff. I'm getting tired of this. My nerves are frazzled and spitting. Alright? But I will do this again, but I'm going to taste it first. After the fact, over the next month or 2. Right?
It was installed. So it was up at 4, and
10 o'clock.
The fuel filter.
I don't like doing this at night, but I was so tired. But now I'm okay. Hold on. Okay, so now it's next day. I'm finishing this video. Alright? So, what do I think about canning sardines? Well, if I have to say anything, there's maybe 3 things. Well, we know what I would do in terms of trying to descale, or at least make sure they're all descaled, right? Do that frozen, or more than 3/4 frozen, just enough to descale them, right? I'd probably cut off the heads while frozen and take little sewing scissors and snip up from the part of the head that you cut off, right, down to, you know, the end, right? Open it up and take out the guts, okay? That's what I would do, semi-frozen, and then I'd rinse them off, and then I'd throw them into ice, okay? And I'd do 5 bags again, and I'd just keep on working. And, you know, so I'd get a big bag of ice and put them in between ice so that they, you know, right? And then after that, I'd get everything ready, well, you know, the jars, whatever. And, like, I'd cut them. Now, and I'd put them in the jars and, okay. So, in terms of the smoke, I'm not too sure. I don't know if it's the type of smoke it was or what, but what I read online in terms of 1 tablespoon to 8 parts, so 8, well, what is that, 7 parts water to 1 tablespoon, so 8 parts. I did 8 tablespoons, which is a 1/2 cup to 1 tablespoon. I did approximately 1 cup. It could have been more than 1 cup for all I know, honestly, because, you know, my eyes, right? Because I put 2 tablespoons in, I could hardly taste anything. I added another 1, I still couldn't really taste anything, so I doubled it, right? And then I thought, well, you don't want to put too much because you don't know what you're doing. So you know, that I need to work on, right? Now, this stuff here, they have cucumber in it, and they obviously olive oil, and then they used what, the corn oil, and there's other things like spices, and like I don't know what they've all got in here, but I can't read it right now, it's too small. And so I mean, it really just depends on what you want, right? Now I don't see the jars that I wrote on. No, I don't. Isn't that just great? Isn't that grand? They washed off. Because the other thing that I would change, all right, would be, oh, here's, okay, so this is heads. Keep them separate, right? The other thing I would change is when I put my water in my pressure canner, okay, I think I had it a little bit too high, because normally what I do is I fill up my pressure canner with water and I bring it to this part of my finger. I stick my finger in there and I'm like, okay, that's good. I'm good to go, right? And I normally don't worry about it. This time I was a little concerned about maybe having a little bit too much water in there, because once you start putting jars in, of course the water rises, which brings it up over, it could bring it up over the lid. Technically, you don't do that, right? So I was assuming it was maybe about this high in you know, after I got the first layer down, and I thought I was safe. And I more than likely I was, right? But after everything was all said and done, now I never took them out till this morning. I just washed them now. That's what I'm doing. Oh, here's, I think this is another head. Yeah, it wore off. So we'll put that over there. Because I got things to do here. I gotta move on fast. I'm working fast, okay? So the next time I do this, I'm gonna make sure there's just, versus going to that high, I'm gonna drop it down a bit. Because liquid leached out of the jars, which added, in my opinion, more liquid into the canner, which brought the liquid, perhaps, when I went to the bottom layer, it didn't look like it was over the rim, but it was pretty darn near close. Because as these things are cooking in the pressure canner, yeah, you screw on your lids finger tight, but over, you know, over, right, the air coming out and liquid or whatever, it normally loosens the lid where it's like really loose. So how much water can backdraft into the jar, I don't know. I don't even know if it's possible, honestly. But just in case, right? Just in case it would do something like that, because the water is over, because it, so, you know, your jars don't automatically seal right away. It takes sometimes a while for them to pop and seal down. So if they're sitting underwater and they're not sealed yet, does the water backdraft in? I don't know. So just to be double sure, when you're working with this size jar, maybe just lower your canner with a little less water, so that the water line on the jar is about here versus over here, in the event that every jar is spitting out liquid, because I added water into this and these jars were fairly full, and the sardines were very moist. So yeah, I definitely got siphoning. Now I didn't, Andre, turn that down. Now I didn't open up the canner after it was done because I just went to sleep. Like I said, I've been working hard. And with all this stuff coming in, you know, like, you know, 10 bags of, what is it called? Icing sugar, that as soon as I pick up the bag, everything starts running, you know, and right? Or whatever. Maybe I think I picked up a tad bit of a cold. I could have. So the other thing that I would do, okay, so this one's got salt on it because there's the S, right? The other thing that I would do, this one's got H on it, this one's got an H on it, is I'm going to try next time and pack them differently. Okay? Instead of packing them in whole, although that would probably be nice too, right? I don't know yet until I take them out. Depends on how well they hold their shape. Because then you can fry them whole after you bread them and make them crispy. I'm just saying. And because they were pressure canned, the bones are going to more than likely be very, very soft, like salmon bones. Right? So, you know, what I would do, what I'd like to try next time, is remember when I opened up that Brunswick sardine can, the pulled one, and they were sliced, right, along the fish. Well, I think I'd like to run a layer of fish here, sliced in that way, with another layer on top. And then, I don't know, I got jalapeno on my mind. Strange. You could put little bits of jalapeno in there, or you could do pimentos, or people like capers. You could put a few capers in there. You can herb it up with different things. I'm just saying. Okay? So, the next time I do this, I definitely want to try some jars with it packed differently. Okay? Because I'm wondering if I do it that way, if it will result in less siphoning. But these are packed pretty good. Like, there's a lot in these jars. I can tell, because I can feel the weight of them. Right? I can feel the weight of them. And they all sealed, so that's good. Right? When I, you know, it wasn't like, you know, oh, fish, your house is going to smell like fish. It wasn't overpowering. Andre didn't even mention it in terms of, ew, what's that smell? It smells like fish. Well, he didn't even mention it. When I opened up the canner this morning, it didn't smell any more different than any other canner that has its lid on and, you know, everything's cooling down and that kind of thing. So, you know, it worked out actually pretty good. Right? So I definitely want to do this again. And as I'm thinking about what I got around the house, because, you know, like my son said, well, you don't know what you got. I'm like, yes, I do. I pretty much know where everything is. There's an area that I can't get into just yet, right, because of whatever. And I'm going back in the day when I did a lot of canning of salmon. Sierra and Austin ran off with a whole bunch when they were down there. And that really pissed me off. But besides that point, there is a spot where I do think I have salmon in a pint-sized jar. I think I do. It's been so long I don't remember. I know I have honey. Definitely honey. Different kinds of honey in this size jar. There may be salmon, but I can't get in there right now. So soon. When we get in there, I'll bring you in. And I've done videos in that area before. Because I have to get in there and check everything. Right? So we've got 2 jars with heads that could be for cat food or human food, okay, with the little tails. So in a situation for the heads and the tails, if you wanted to make fish soup, or you just wanted a fish broth, this is what you would use to get your broth. You put it in a pot, add some water, simmer it, strain it, there's your broth, right? Or you can, you know, bring it to a boil, do it your 10 minutes, and then let it cool and strain it, and you can bread them and you can eat them that way if you'd like. Right? I'm just saying. Make them crunchy. Right? Or you can give them to your animals and grind them up. So we got... Oh my Lord. Okay, so this is an H. And then this is a H. So I'm missing one jar with an S on it. It washed off because it was sitting on the bottom shelf. So if you're going to put stuff like this on your jars, on your lids, before you can them, just so that you can distinguish what's what after you take them out. Put them on the top shelf, not on the bottom, because shit's leaking from this down to the bottom, okay? I'm just saying. Yeah. Because I don't see... Oh, here it is. So 2 salt, nothing but salt, olive oil, and water. These ones got hickory smoke. I'll show you. How strong, I don't know. But I guess when I open it up, heat it up, and then taste it, we'll find out. So this is all with hickory smoke, with olive oil and a bit of salt. These are the heads that could be human food or could be cat food, right? These are the ones with just olive oil, water, and salt. And they all have water in them, okay? Now, whether I put in maybe a little bit too much water, I don't remember. Like, it's been so long since I canned fish, honestly. Like, you can put chicken and any other kind of meat raw into a jar and add no water and just pressure can it with its own juices. I don't like to go that route, because what ends up happening is in the jar, I'll show you. What ends up happening is you get this, I don't want to call it a dead space, but it's kind of like a dead space, right? Where all this up above here, these are the ducklings, okay? Now, I did add water in here. And even though when they come out of the canner with water, like, they look like they're high up with the water, you have to remember everything's been, you know, pushed up and everything, and it takes a while for things to settle down. And if you got a lot of gelatin in there, it's going to gel up, right? It's not like it's just straight up liquid, okay? There's a lot of gelatin in this. So everything settles, it gels, whatever. And then you get this dead space, right? Where nothing's under the water or in the gelatin. And then when it's in long-term food storage for a long time, it will discolor, but it doesn't mean that your food is bad, okay? It just means it's not under the water, and it might not be as moist as everything else below, right? Whether it went into a gelatin state, or it's got a layer of fat, or it's straight up liquid, depending on what you're canning, okay? So, with that said, when I do chicken or turkey, anything pretty much raw now, yeah, see, I can't see very well, but anything raw now, I top this off. This is chicken split chicken legs, right? Okay, that's pretty much all that is, I'm pretty sure. No salt, because I made it for the cats. Split chicken legs, no salt. Made it for the cats, but humans by default first, right? And I put all the chicken legs in there, minus the knuckles. So cut off the knuckles and just left the leg part with bone and all. Put it in there. You can see there's a lot of food in there. And Andre, I don't want to have to compete with that right now, please. He's so excited to have this new thing. He's been doing really good. I'm so impressed with him. Yeah, I'm just talking and I'm really tired and agitated. It seems to me like the water line is up around in here somewhere. I lost my silver flashlight. I don't know where it is. Andre, can you come here and tell me where the water line is? Yeah, I think it's around up in here. There's a water line. You'll see the water line. Tell me where the water line is. Right up in here, right? Yeah, okay, good. So yeah, you see? Here's your water line. You do have a bit of food up over above, but not as much as the duck legs. However, I think there's a lot of gelatin in those duck legs, okay? So, if this sits in long-term food storage, we'll say for 8 years, okay? 8 years, that's a long time. right, what's going to end up happening is the stuff that's above the water is going to get a little dried out. And it might get a little discolored because it's not under the water. But as long as your lid doesn't pop, you're good. It's still edible. Okay? People don't know that. You see that sometimes they just don't know that. Or even with the oxidization under the lid. They open up the lid, they see little black, oh, it's no good. They throw everything out, not realizing that it's actually just oxidization. So if I would not have added that little extra water, my water line would probably be down here. Okay, so that's why I like to add. All right? And, you know, it's a hit and miss as to how much siphoning you're going to get. It's also like, you know, if you take them out of the canner too fast with that vortex going, right, of course you're going to speed it up, make it go faster and spit out even more. So you really, when you're dealing with things that with water in them or juice or broth or whatever, in a pressure canner, right, mainly with that, right, the longer you can leave it cool in the canner, the better it is, because if you bring them out too soon, you bring them out, as soon as you bring them into a different temperature of the air, it just speeds it up and it will start siphoning even more on your counter. Doesn't mean the jar won't seal, because they do oftentimes, but you know, you want to try and prevent that. So in terms of how much liquid I lost from each jar, well, first of all, I can't really see. Oh yes, as I was saying, now I don't remember, like when I can that salmon, if I added water or if you just put it in raw without water and can it in its own juices, or, you know, like it is possible to add a little water or whatever, right? I lean that in that direction almost with everything. Now, I probably could have added less water with this, only because the fish itself was quite moist. But I'm not upset because everything's sealed. Yeah. So I'm really happy with it. Like, really extremely happy with it. Now we're going to get into some numbers, and then I'm going to end the video, okay? In terms of, you know, cost. And in regards to the sardine can that I pulled out yesterday from underneath here, which I'll pull out another one because I found it. I have some down here too, right? That I bought a long time ago. I don't exactly remember when. That's how long ago I bought them. But I know why they're at 130 grams. I know exactly why they're at 130 grams. Because I bought them a long time ago. That's why, people. So, I probably bought them like maybe 2 years ago. Maybe 2 years ago. Same brand. Oh no, this one's 106 grams. Where am I getting 130 grams from? I don't know. Anyway, these are 106 grams. It should be interesting to come across one that's older than these, which will be either in my cupboard over there, way, way, way in the back, or in my bedroom on that shelf, way, way, way in the back, that's been there for eons. Okay? So anyway, okay, so let's do the math. Because you know we're facing shrinkflation, right? In 3 years from now, it won't be 106 grams because they're already trying to bring in 90 grams. I'm just saying. Right? Depending on what you're buying. Okay, so it's a $1.87, $1.97 up to $2.19 for 106 grams of basic sardines with either water or a little bit of soy sauce, soya oil. Okay. The fresh sardines that were frozen that I bought were $4.57 a bag. I bought 5 bags because that was the limit, and I'm so glad that that's all they allowed me to buy, because I would have had to do this 2 times and I would have been in a dilemma. So anyway, I bought the 5, and I'm like, okay. So that came out to $22.85. Okay? But then we discovered that they had their heads on, and some of them had their scales, and they all had their guts. Right? So 750 grams per bag times 5 was 3,750 grams in total for everything. Eyeballs, guts, scales, the whole tails, all of it. Okay? So then I took 3,750 grams and I divided that by 106 grams. No stress, convenient, eat right out of the can, right? Which left me 35 cans. Okay? If I bought 35 cans of these, I'd have the equivalent of 3,750 grams. But I'd have to buy 35 cans. Okay? And then you multiply that by 2. We'll just round it off at $2. You're looking at 70 bucks. I will spend that easy peasy when I want to stock up with sardines. That's why I went this route, because I wanted to cut back on the costs, right? Because now that I've overspent, racked up my credit cards, burned myself out, done all this shit, now it's time to pay the piper. In other words, I need to pay back my credit cards, I need to use up some of the things I have, and you know, and just relax and get on with other things, right? In terms of, like, you know, being responsible, right? I don't have to worry about food, right? You know, but I need to, you know, pay back what I borrowed. And don't forget, for all the child support that I've been getting for the last 3 years, okay, a lot of that money went into food prep, okay? But a lot of credit card money went into food prep too. Alright, so for $70 I can get 35 cans. I will probably spend $100 and get whatever cans I can get for my $100, and I'll take a stack and a stack and a stack, and I'll go in there, pull out the old stacks, put the new stacks in there, and I'll be greasing with sardines. And I won't have to worry about sardines because I know I got a few stacks over there, even though it costed me $100. But they're convenient, they're nice to have, they're shelf stable, they do last a very long time. I like these brands with the oil. Okay, that's what I prefer. And then, so we're going to minus the $22.85 from the fresh fish that I bought. Okay, so that would leave me $47.15. I don't know why I did that, but I did that because for the amount that I'm paying extra to have it this way would have been $47.15 more than doing it this way. Okay? Now, I took off $7.15 in good faith for scraps, in terms of, you know, the guts, the scales, not the heads and the fish tails, because I have them canned. I can still use them at some point somewhere down the line with something, but those fish guts, I don't know, that's coyote food, okay, or the birds or possums or skunks or raccoons or whatever. The scales just went straight up into the garbage. So, by doing it this way, I saved myself $40 versus spending $70. Okay? However, I didn't include the jars, or even the lids for that matter, because I've already had them for years. These were old jars with new lids that I accumulated over a period of time, over the last couple of years of canning that, you know, I washed 12 jars, but I only use 8. So I've got 3 lids that, you know, and then you just, right, before you know it, you got a whole stack of lids ready to use when you need them. Okay, so my hard drive on the camera was full. Andre, what did I just say?
Just turned on the TV.
I gave you ample opportunity to do that before I started this video.
Yeah, but I did not know it was going to be loud.
Yeah, for me it is, especially when I'm agitated. Okay, I won't be long. I'm finishing this video. I got cut off in midstream. I forgot what I was talking about. It was on my mind, but I got distracted. Right?
Talking about the fish.
I know I was talking about the fish, but I cut off in mid-sentence. Right in mid-sentence. Right, so maybe I should bring it back up and just get that last sentence in. Okay, so that over the last couple of years of canning that, you know, I right, before you know it, you got a whole stack of lids ready to use when you need them. When you need them. So anyway, I bought the 5 and I'm like, okay, so that came out to... So, I didn't factor in the jars and the lids. Oh, hold on a minute. Okay, I gave my son a huge bag of rice. It's like more than 25 pounds. I don't even know how many pounds it was. I got it from Canadian Superstore. It was on sale. I made his day. I told him to put back that bologna because I asked him about that, right? He goes, well, I said, why did you take it? Well, it was getting freezer burnt. I said, it wasn't getting freezer burnt. It was vacuum sealed. I said, where is it now? Did you eat it? He goes, no. I'm like, well, then put it back. Thought it was funny. I didn't think it was funny. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So I didn't factor in the jars and the lids because these lids have been kicking around for well over a year. And these jars have been around longer than that. Although I did buy some more jars today. I'm not done yet. I need them for the apple, mango, peaches, whatever, applesauce, right? Because, you know. And I'm telling you, people, there is no shame to my game. I'm not making no apologies to nobody. I'm 61 years old. I don't got that many years left on this planet, and I ain't doing nothing bad, and chances are this time next year I'm not even going to be in a position to can like I've been canning, and it's not even like I'm going to want to because there's other things I want to do. So, but I'm warning you now, and people are already talking about it, other YouTubers, more than one. There's going to be a turkey shortage because it's already here now. Okay. I know because I've been canning. I know what I went through to just get those 2 butterball turkeys. And at best, you're just going to find ground turkey. And for a pound of ground turkey, or even less than that, you're looking at $6 to $7, $8 for ground turkey, okay? That's just ridiculous, okay? But I managed to find ground turkey, 4 pounds for $10, which works out to 200, which works out to $2.50 a pound. I bought 4 bags. That gives me 16 pounds of ground turkey. It's coming in frozen, hopefully. And I'm just going to can it up. And that will be it for turkey, because I just did chunks of turkey, and turkey broth, and turkey bones. But this is ground turkey. And the way things are going, you know, I don't know. People might get lucky and they might bring some turkey in at Christmas time only because it's Christmas. But, you know. So I just said to hell with it. Because after this fish, I didn't want to do any pressure canning. until maybe the next time I was going to do sardines again, which wouldn't be until I'm done the apples and all this other stuff and all this other stuff. But, you know, I thought, well, because I'm shopping, right? Just topping off the jars or whatever because of these apples. I need extra jars and blah, 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 right? Because, you know, I'm repurposing dented cans, so it requires a few more jars than what I've got on hand. Now, my neighbor said she was going to give me some jars, but because somebody's giving her jars, and she's going to give those jars to me if and when that time comes, to which, you know, I said, well, that'd be great, you know, I'm looking really forward to it, but I can't wait, right, because these apples are here now. So, you know, and then I just wanted to see if there was available turkey. No turkey legs, no turkey necks, no turkey breasts, no whole turkey. The only turkey they have is, like, you know how you get sliced turkey when you want to order meat, like sandwich meat that's already smoked and they slice it for you and you sell it. I don't want that, right? Or ground turkey. And most of these packs are coming in under a pound. And they're charging $7 to $8, $6.97 to $7.97 per pack. And I'm like, holy shit, that's a lot of money just for ground turkey, right? You know, do you really need it, right? Like, well, no, you don't. But then I see this other pack. It said 4 pounds for $10. Well, that's $2.50. It's already grounded up for me. You know, I'll put them in pint-sized jars. It's a 75-minute pressure can. And it could be easily go into soup or whatever. You know, my son is making tacos. That can go into tacos. It's enough for a meal for everybody in the house to have with some beans and stuff. So for me, it makes sense. But, you know, it clutters up until you put everything away, which takes time. Right? And of course, you know, it's work. As if. But I'd be very surprised if there's going to be turkey in the wintertime. Oh, yeah. And if there is, it's only coming out because of Christmas. To keep the people pacified. So that they don't lose faith in the politicians. That the politicians are providing the turkeys to the public when it comes to those national holidays. Right? So, you know, that's why I bought it. I'm deep in the game in the kitchen anyway, so one more pressure can at 75 minutes isn't going to kill me. Right? So, I'm not committing no crimes. I'm not hurting nobody. If anything, I'm providing a substance, like a food substance, that's nutritional, tasty. It's like comfort food, right? And once I'm caught up with these apples, then I'm free, right? Because it's the apples right now that are, like, for the next few weeks, right, that are going to be keeping my attention. That's why I had to get the extra jars, because I'm going to make applesauce. I'm going to do apples and peaches. I am going to do apples and mango, right? But once the apples are done, that's it. The only thing that I could see happening, because I register with the Christmas Bureau, because I'm poor, people. Like I say, I rack up my credit card. You don't even know. And so I register with the Christmas Bureau, and if they come and they give me a turkey, last year they gave me a turkey, they gave me a ham, and they gave me this long thing of hamburger, and I canned it up. That's what I did. That's the only way I'm going to be canning in the winters, if I get that kind of stuff. Otherwise, I don't plan on canning, right? I'm not even looking for deals of chicken and shit like that, right? I'm not. So, but the turkey, oh yeah, maybe at $2.50 a pound, already ground up. Why not? Right? And yeah, so, but for the jars for the fish this time, didn't cost me not 1 red cent. And then at some point in the next couple, 2-3 months, hopefully, there'll still be frozen sardines. Hopefully. I'll attempt to do that again, but not anytime soon. I'll eat a few jars first. I'll experiment with them first, see if I like it. And if I like it, then by all means, I'll be on a sardine hunt. Fresh sardines, you know, like frozen or whatever, I don't care. Right? And not too many people are looking for sardines right now. It's not high on their shopping list, outside of maybe, you know, those little cans because they're convenient. But turkeys, oh, people are going to go through withdrawal if they can't get their turkey. Right? You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, I'm going to turn this off, add it to that big-ass video, get it converting, and go start washing some apples and sorting them out. Yeah, and getting ready for turkey. Now the turkey's coming in frozen, so that buys me a day or two to just work on apples and do laundry. Play catch up with a few other things. I have to go out and work on the rabbit hutch here in the next week, right? In terms of I have to change the roof. My son said he'd help me with that. There's some porch repairs that I have to do, and there's other things I have to do out in the yard, and so we'll just take it one day at a time.